Please rise. Reverend McNeely, you want to lead us in prayer? You're good.
Mercy God, we come this evening, the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County in the state of Florida, to conduct business. We pray for the business that come before this board, they would handle it decently and in order, and that those who come to present would understand that we have a democratic process, and that you allowed us the freedom to be a part of. Bless this meeting tonight. We pray for all in Jesus' name.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
This is a regular meeting of the Hendry County Board of County Commissioners being held on Tuesday, June 8, 2021 at 5 p.m. in the City Commission chambers in Petition, Florida. In attendance are Chairman Mitchell Wills, Vice Chair Emma Byrd, Commissioner Darrell Harris, Commissioner Raymond Iglesias, Commissioner Carson Turner, County Administrator Jennifer Davis, County Attorney Mark Latt, Clerk Billy Barron.
Thank you, ma'am. If you wish to speak tonight, if you would, we have cards. If you would please fill them out and bring them up to the front, and Ms. Barano will take those and get them to us. When it comes to that portion of the meeting, we will get you plugged right in there. Commissioners, under the bids tonight, first thing on is 2021-11.
I move to accept option 1A.
I second it.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bids 2021-12.
Just to be clear, you said 1A, I think, right?
Just 1A.
That was 1A, we're on
It would be
1B now.
all of one. All of one is what we needed, right, Shane?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we're not, I said 1A, so we gotta do 1B.
Well, I'm just,
Option one.
We're on option one of item A on our
Right.
agenda.
all right.
That's what we
Thank
said.
you.
Yeah.
So we're on bid number 2021-12 now.
I move to accept.
I second it.
Motion by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioners, under consent, we are pulling B 5 and 6 for discussion, and also D1 for discussion.
I'll move to approve the balance of the consent agenda.
Sorry. We also need to pull C3 for a future meeting.
Okay. Do we need to set that? We'll do it at that one, so my motion stands.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll make it second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Iglesias. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. B5,
For the record, Shane Parker, County Engineer, first one is application for federal grant assistance for taxiway extension phase 1 at Belleville Airport. You have the staff report.
Yeah, so you want us to approve this application, is that correct?
Yes, sir, for submittal, and there's several items in the back
Yes, sir.
that go along with that approval.
So I'll go, option one, which is just to approve the application, authorize Public Works Director to execute application for federal grant assistance to the FFA, and items B and C as well, along with D.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Harris. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 6,
Chairman, this one's for a transfer of entitlements from Everglades Airport to Lavelle Airport for the Lavelle Airport Taxiway D Extension Phase 1, which is part of this grant application. Originally, we were wanting to transfer $150,000 from Everglades Airport to Lavelle Airport, but FAA contacted us late last week and said they'd like us to transfer all the entitlements, which is $600,000 to Lavelle Airport in order to keep for discretionary funds for this project. There's a lot of competition and prices are high. Spoke to AIA today, myself, and the county administrator, and Bubba Wade was okay with that.
So I'll make a motion to approve, the request as presented, make that transfer.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Turner, Second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion?
Can we get a caveat in there that Commissioner Harris has to quit whiny babying about things happening in LaBelle and not in Clewiston so that Everglades is taking care of LaBelle Airport? Can we put that caveat in there somewhere?
And sidewalks.
Please, and sidewalks. Yeah.
We appreciate the
Yeah, okay,
150.
appreciate you. Well, I'll take that, we appreciate that.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Did everything
Now,
we
C,
could to keep it
Ms.
in
Davis, was you pulling that for discussion? I couldn't hear what you said.
C3 will come to a
Later date.
future meeting.
Future meeting.
You said it or we're okay?
No, we're okay.
Okay.
So here comes to D1.
For the record, Sabrina Jackson, Housing and Social Services. We're asking that this be approved, but we pulled it so that we can, if we work on the statement of work, the work completion deadline was for May 30th, which is already passed. We're going back to be able to get this re-signed with the homeowners.
Is this Mr. Emaskar on Kanawha?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to approve, presented and adjust the deadline accordingly so that Ms. Gadsden can get this done.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to award interferences. Thank you, Ms. Gadsden. Let's see. First one is Juneteenth Day. And then we have a proclamation for Mr. Is that Mr. or Miss Hastings? Alcee?
I'll
I want
see.
to make sure I pronounce the name correctly when I get there. Thank you. Juneteenth Day. Whereas Juneteenth or Juneteenth Independence Day commemorates the traditional observance of the end of slavery in the United States observed annually on June 19th. Whereas President Lincoln declared that in giving freedom to the slaves, we assured freedom to the free, honorable alike in what we give and what we preserve. We shall nobly save and mentally lose the last best hope of earth. Whereas on January 1st, 1863, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation declaring that all persons held as slaves within the United States designated part of the state, the people whereas shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then henceforth forever free. I wish they'd write these things kind of like the New Living Translation or something. But all the these, the thous, and the here and the now. Anyway, let me keep going.
James.
Yes, sir. Whereas more than 2 years would pass before the news reached African Americans living in Texas when the June 19, 1865, Union Major General Gordon Granger and his regiment arrived in Galveston and spread the word that slavery had been abolished. Whereas the following year, the first official Juneteenth celebrations took place in Texas and have continued across the United States throughout the years. Whereas emancipation in Florida was proclaimed in Tallahassee on May 20th, 1864. For this reason, Floridians traditionally celebrate Emancipation Day on May 20th. Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated ending of slavery. And whereas Juneteenth is an important opportunity to honor the principles of Declaration of Independence and celebrate the achievements and contributions African Americans have made and now continue to make in Hendry County across our state and nation. The Hendry County Board of County Commissioners, Hendry County, Florida, does hereby extend greetings and best wishes to observe June 19, 2021 as Juneteenth Day. Duly considered and adopted by the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County this 8th day of June, 2021. Absolutely.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
What are we doing here? Just stand up.
As close as-
That's as close as you can get, yeah. You can just move on the other side if you want to. I can move over by Ms. Byrd, she can come this way. Yes, ma'am, y'all come up here, please.
Break that plexiglass.
Isn't COVID over? Break this.
Pray harder for him, Reverend.
Reverend Neely, pray for me tonight, please.
And light a candle.
Why just tonight, Carson?
Extra.
Come on. I won't trust him.
Before you do the next proclamation, Jonathan had said while we were up here, we could address the board.
For Juneteenth, they would like to make a request.
I guess we can sit down now.
Said, commissioners, we'd like to take this under consideration.
if all possible, we have an activity on that day at the, what we call the Tree Park in Harlem, from 11 to 6. If all possible, we'd like to know if you guys could be prepared or just stay with us all day. And on that also note, we will continue to have activities monthly. Many of them have tentative dates who have not been settled yet, but also the issue concerning the use of facilities at the Civic Center. We're asking you, or we're inviting you guys to come to be a part of that, if all possible, and to hopefully come to some resolve on how we can handle personal issue.
I don't think you said what the issue is. You was waiting on me, Jennifer. The issue is, if we could get the fee, the $50 fee for the special event permit and the $200 security deposit. We're a nonprofit organization, and we're having to pay $50 for the special event permit, $670 for the insurance, and the $200 deposit. So if possible, we're just asking if you all could waive that fee.
Would that,
We got the $250, we paid the $650 for the insurance.
is that per month?
It-
These activities, there will be ongoing activities.
No, she said, no. Margaret might want to answer this for you.
You want to, well, $50 is a special permit fee, $200 is the deposit fee. They have to pay the insurance for special event insurance, and then the supervisor fee for the facility to use the restrooms during the event. Are the fees associated with a special event permit.
But is that every month or one time?
Well, this is specifically for Juneteenth, and then in addition, Ms. Taylor came before you and was requesting to be able to reserve the restrooms for future dates. And in our conversation, I think what they were saying is they want to do it monthly. And so I don't know if that request, if you're making that request to waive that fee, or you're just talking about Juneteenth right now.
And I don't know specifically that we're gonna need a special event permit for every month. The ministers are doing something July the 19th, and I think Margaret says what throws us into a special event permit is that if we're having a large crowd, which we think Juneteenth will bring a crowd, so that triggered that, if I'm saying it right, Margaret?
Well, there's more that triggers it.
Okay, tell them.
Let me get up and speak. So our special event permits apply to private properties and also that have to do with having parades. But the private properties has to do with holding an event that has music, is open to the public, and has vendors, and will need, because of potential, the need for EMS, fire, and the sheriff's department, in order to make sure that everybody is safe in these events. We also need to deal with parking, because we don't have a lot of parking in some places, and we need to make sure that there's sufficient off-street parking for special events, regardless of whether it's in Harlem or throughout the county. That's what we look for special events. And anyway, that's what our requirement is. And with their request for using the Harlem Civic Center in a series of multiple times over the year, it could become problematic, partly because of other events that are scheduled for the Harlem Civic Center. The timing might not work for them or for another a situation that event, whether it's a rental for a repast or for a wedding or you name it, whatever the typical rentals are. And so it's difficult for us, and especially since we have in our policy that we don't normally in the policy, it says that we don't allow these reoccurring events for the very reason it's supposed to be open and available for the public and not be monopolized for situations. As far as their events, there's, in the park, it depends, they will have to get a special event permit depending on what their activities are. And we won't know that until they give us the information, and then we go from there. So if you have any questions for me, I'm available.
Margaret,
And, okay. I was
Mark.
going to get some issues she brought up.
okay, when have we waived fees in the past?
We've wavered, well, I'll let Ms. Edwards answer it.
Well, we have waived the fees before in different situations. I can't give you a specific example, but what I will tell you is that the special event permits are $50. As Ms. Taylor mentioned, the costs start occurring when they have to get the required insurance, and then also in the deposits that are required, which are given back and those are for cleanup. So, if the county has to end up cleaning up after an event, we have that $200 to cover it. And then, we're kind of mixing two situations here with our rental, our facilities rental in this situation, and also a special event permit. And so that's what we charge.
So does that cover the bathrooms too?
Well, that special event permit doesn't cover the bathrooms, but in this situation for Juneteenth, we'd agreed that it would cover the bathrooms as long as we had a supervisor there in the building, and that's what we were talking about, that we have to pay the supervisor. So if we waive that fee, the county will be paying that supervisor. And, and then the other fees, we have waived them before, and if somebody has an example, you could provide it, but I can't think of one myself right now.
Well, I will personally think anytime a county facility is being used, it needs a supervisor, period.
Yes.
Regardless, whether it's it doesn't matter. We pay the fees every year when we do the Falls Festival, the rodeo grounds. We have to pay the fees there. It's not waived. My biggest thing would be the restrooms. Someone has to be in that facility and make sure them. Let me finish. I won't interrupt you. Let me finish. The situation there is that building's wide open. There is no one way into the restrooms and one way out. We're talking about kids. We were all kids. Some of us longer ago than others, but we were all kids. If that facility's open, they're going to find a crevice. They're going to find someplace. I don't care. They're kids. It's going to happen. We need to make sure that our facility and the people using that facility are safe. That's just my opinion. So I believe that has to have a supervisor on staff, on site. That's just my opinion. There's 5 of us, and that's the beauty of 5 people. We can discuss it.
I'm available if you have any more questions.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Okay, when we're talking about just some of the stuff, we don't mind paying for supervisors, we don't mind paying for whatever we need to do to make things happen for the community. It is just a gesture for a good, family thing for that community that we've done the last 4 months. Every month, a different organization in the community does something in the community, in the park. And so we don't have an issue with complying, and I told them to know that. The thing is that we don't know the dates, and when it comes to conflict with that facility in the community, all the years that that facility has been there, the community has always worked together in any situation that they've had. Even if we were having something and we had the Civic Center and somebody was in the community and need to come in and use it, we always work together. That community has always worked together. When we talk about the parking, I don't know if you all know where the area is, but the parking lot for the Civic Center is more than ample parking for what we would need for any activity that we would have. Besides that, the
Side of the road going down by
the
Reverend
south-
Brown's church.
Right, and then the south side of the parking lot
is designed so that we can let our elderly park in the parking lot so they don't have to get out their cars to partake of the events that's in the community, because every event that we do is for the senior citizens and children and stuff. We're not asking you to open that facility and let anybody run wild in it. We would even be willing to volunteer to do whatever we needed to do. And we are a responsible organization that if anything is tore up in that building, we would be responsible for paying for it. We don't have any issues with working with the county. I think there was something else I wanted to address. But the $20 per hour for somebody to watch, we don't mind paying that if we have to, because our events are like that. We just is going to be coming to you, Carson, for more donations
Yep.
to help us pay for that, and that's fine. But I feel personally, and I told Jennifer and Margaret this, we pay taxes. That facility, the most valuable thing in the Harlem Civic Center is the warmer, the food warmer. And the food warmer was bought by this organization some many years ago. There's no way we would do anything to destroy that. That's our community. That's what we live for. That's what we do. All we want to do is provide services to our community, which we do once a month. It was the first, we had our dedication. Robert Coker came and spoke for us for our dedication of our benches, which we used the high school to do. That was our first. All the elected officials came to celebrate with us. Our second one was the ministers did their sunrise service. That was the second one. Everything has been well attended, 200-300 people. The third was our community Easter egg hunt, which we had maybe 300 or more children there that we did. That is when, and then we had the Mother's Day event. The Mother's Day event brought all the church people out, all the citizens, everybody just sit around in the park. We had a real live band for them. That's when we realized we had a problem. The older people that was at that event said the only issue they had was not being able to go to the bathroom. That is why we came before you all. We've had no problem. Every event that we've had, we've contacted the sheriff's department. I think Matt is on speed dial with me because we want them to be sure that we are covered. And they covered every event that we've had with no incidents, no anything. So we want to comply and we want to be good citizens. And what it would cost us if we told it right, even we said our maximum event probably 6 hours, which would be $120. So 120 times 12 would be like $1,444. That's what we're asking the county to donate to a community. And I would not only ask for that for Harlem, I would ask that for any community in Hendry County that wants to do something for their residents to be able to do it. That's all we're asking for. It's just some help from you all. We don't mind complying, and if we have to, we'll pay whatever we have to pay. Like I said, we just have to take up donations to do it because we are nonprofit. And I think at one time, nonprofits wasn't paying anything. I don't know if you all changed that, did you?
Nonprofits, if they're having an event, we allow nonprofits. We don't waive for nonprofits
For the
necessarily.
supervisory?
Right.
Supervisory, no.
No, we just allow nonprofits to have events, for example, that would sell a ticketed event, if you will. We allow that. But we don't waive, but we don't waive the fees for the
Make money off
nonprofit.
of that ticket and not have a different fee schedule.
Right.
And honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, trust me, I'm a pastor, I run a church, everything's a nonprofit. We don't make no money. But the fact still remains, it's a county facility. And my point is, I get it, I pay taxes too. I can't use none of these facilities without paying just like everyone else. If someone gets hurt in the building, someone gets hurt in the parking lot, the county's on the hook for that. And it's just a matter of legalities, Mr. Taylor, you know that, you've been a commissioner for many years, you know the policy.
That's why I
So, let me finish. So that being said, that's the reason I'm saying what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with the community. I have no problem with any community. I try to attend as many events as I can in all the communities.
Mr. Chair.
So just with that being said, that's where I'm at. So
You're just saying, but the biggest thing I hear you saying is you want the supervisor in there.
I do. I want
Okay.
someone to make sure that Hendry County's covered. That way it's not on this association. They don't have to worry
they're-
about it.
And I hear them
we
saying
don't
they
have
don't have
to
a
worry
problem in the world with that out there.
So that's where we're at. We don't have no problems. There should
All
be
right.
no problem.
Question is, Do we want to pay for that supervisor, or do we want their entity to pay for that supervisor? I think you're more of the thought process, they should pay for the supervisor.
If you want to pay for the supervisor, I think that's amazing, and I'll come back to you in October.
Okay, all right.
But we have the permit fee, which is the $50, and the $200 deposit, I think was the request, the original request.
So what I would like to do, Mr. Chair, then, and Ms. Byrd, I would like to, I think the $200 is just great because it makes y'all have the ability to have a stick to hold over people and say, we ain't gonna get our money back if we don't get it. I hate security deposits, but they work wonders. So I say we keep the security deposit, we'll just roll that thing over every month. And monitor the behavior, which sounds hilarious because we're monitoring adults that are older than me. I ain't monitoring nobody, 'cause boy, my hypocrisy has bounds. Then the $50, if y'all want to waive that or not, what are y'all's thoughts on the permit fee,
Well,
application fee?
As long as you waiver it and everybody in the county.
I'm not gonna waive it for everybody in the county.
Waive it, or if you don't want to waive, that's fine. Listen, we're gonna do what we have to do to comply. And like I told her, when she's talking about cleanup, she's talking about cleanup on private property. Because that's where it would be on private property. And I told her, we would take a picture of before and after. Because if you go look at where it is now, they would have to pay somebody to come clean it up now. Right today. I meant to bring the pictures for you. But we would take the pictures before. We don't mind putting the $200 up. We'll take the pictures before and we'll take the pictures afterwards. And the only way we would want them to use our $200 is that from the first taking of the pictures, there's additional trash on it, if you all follow.
Yeah.
Do that make sense?
You left it better than the way you found it.
Yes.
But the 200 is not for the property, Ms. Taylor. It's not for the private property, it's for the building, right?
No.
$200 is not-
We're not going in the building.
So what's the deposit cover?
You're using the, Margaret, do you want to clarify
I think
that?
I think the $200 covers the restroom, potential of the
Covers the
restroom
civic center,
cleanup.
right?
We're not using the facility.
No, but you're using the bathroom. So I'm saying that $200 deposit doesn't worry about the property and the trash.
But she told me $200 for the cleanup.
That's of the facility only,
In
the
the
parking
event
lot.
thereof.
Well, then you don't have to.
So that's just the parking lot and facility.
Saying no.
No. Okay.
Go ahead.
The $200 deposit for a special event permit is meant for if there's any cleanup that is required from the event that is not taken care of by the applicant. And if the county has to clean up, whether it's on their property or off property, because the event, people will go off the property and they, drop trash, nothing. It happens in other situations. But it's a matter of having that deposit for the cleanup. And for the facility rental, we also have deposits that are $200. And for this Juneteenth event, we're not proposing to ask for the money for that. We're only thing for the rental of the facility, the use of the facility, is to cover the supervisor's cost.
Okay.
Period. The rest of it is based on the special event permit, which is not a
So the special event permit covers private property.
private property and there's other facilities as well that are not our facilities, for
Well.
example.
Interesting. I didn't know we'd go on there and clean up private property. That's interesting.
Well, it usually has to do with cleanup that occurs off property is what it is.
Okay.
Off the private property.
Okay.
I have
Well,
a
Commissioner, are you gonna make that in the form of a motion or?
I said, take the $200 deposit,
Yes, sir.
waive the $50 application fee, and they're going to hire our people, our supervisor. They were good with that. They had no issue with that whatsoever. I
Yes,
make
sir.
that in the form of a motion.
Right, thank you. You got a second or more discussion?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Iglesias. Any discussion?
Yes, one other point. Just in knowing this community and in hearing what I hear one of the matriarchs of that community saying to us, I don't see a problem. I love schedules. So if you all want to do something on a monthly basis, I would just say submit your date sooner than later so that we know, and we have that date. I don't know if it's third Saturday or whatever. And then obviously, if a pillar of the community passes and that facility is going to be in need, then by all means, we're going to have to move it. Is that not correct, Ms. Bird? Is that everything cool with that?
Not correct,
Okay.
simply because if someone rent the facility, they rent the facility, they have that right to say yes or no. I don't feel that if I had a dance and I rented it, I might not want everybody to come. I can't speak for everybody else. So you have to look at, just like me renting your room, your hotel room. Everybody can't come in, everybody can't go out. So I think you should take it on an individual base and work from there.
But to that point, so we don't own the facility, so let's use it. It's a great one to discuss. The Beardsley Room and the John Boy Auditorium. I believe the calendar is set today for 365 days from to now. You could rent that. Or Raymond, the clubhouse next to the pool at Roland Martin's Marina. Somebody could come in and rent the third Saturday of every month right now and give you a deposit and have that locked in. Could they not?
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Bird, is your issue with it that we're preventing somebody else from coming in and being able to use it?
And not just that, someone asked to rent it, I believe, I'm not sure who it was, an entity wanted to rent it, I think once a month, if I recall, Jennifer. They wanted to rent it once a month, and I was told that we don't allow entities to come in and
Recurring.
Our
That-
policy,
And that was something that was said earlier, but the policy now prevents that.
yes.
I think that we should change that policy then. Because if somebody wants to have, like, I hate to do this. I'm the old guy in the room finally. I remember Kenneth and Kevin sprinting back from the current Al Morrell Fieldhouse to go to the Billy T dance at the John Boy Auditorium. And they smelled like straight butt leaving our house. And Doyle and Cricket would rip them up and say, get back in here. You're not going out in public. Looking like that and smelling like that, representing our last name. Hey, Dad, we got to roll. They would go back in, they would take a shower, straight to the John Boy Auditorium. But that was a given after every home game. Y'all didn't do that in LaBelle, you're too conservative. We got down in Clewiston, baby. All right? But anyway, we had that every Friday night at home games. But that was a lock. Now, granted, it's 2021, so we can't do that anymore. But what are y'all's thoughts on that?
So I think.
I love using our facilities. I hate them sitting idle.
So I think that what we were talking about, just trying to work it out to have this discussion, is what if you have a repast? Okay, that's not planned.
Does that mean a wake or
Yes.
everybody eats after the funeral?
Right.
Okay.
And so if there's a date, let's say they give us 12 dates.
Hold on, Mr. Davis. Chief Deputy, can somebody back there roll those blinds? I'm getting hammered with a reflection off of a window back there. Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Davis.
Oh, it's okay. So that's just for discussion. So how would you propose to handle that if they have 12 dates and we change the policy, if it's the board's will to change the policy so we don't have the recurring, then when someone has a repast and they're in there,
Okay,
under
we'll be
those
offensive.
circumstances.
Black folks usually have that on Saturday or Sunday. How's that roll?
There
We
you go.
usually
Saturday.
usually have our repasses traditionally on Saturdays.
That's what I thought.
Our events are not always on Saturday.
Okay.
And our events would never, ever conflict with the wake in that community. We are too close to that. We are too close in that community to have a conflict with somebody wake. We would know better than to do that.
But what does that mean? You would cancel your event?
That means we would cancel our events.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means that we would not have, we are here to work for the community, not
Yeah.
work against it.
Right.
We're doing everything we can for the community. So if we have a conflict, then all the ministers has to do, because it's the ministers. And the Ministerial Alliance is the next group that's having their event in July. So they would work together because they determine when the wake's gonna be and what they're gonna be. So we always have worked together.
So,
I don't see anything.
so can I get clarity on something, since we have a tentative date for the next event, which is July the 19th?
June 19th.
No,
Next
July.
event after that.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Commissioner Thompson. In July. We're giving you a tentative date for an event in July. The 19th to the 23rd, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., a nightly revival in the park. Can I leave here today with clarity on the do's and the don'ts of what the expectations are?
That's Miss Margaret.
revival would be a special event permit requirement, and if you're having it in that same, the tree park, and you wanted to use the Harlem Academy, I'm sorry.
Civic Center.
Civic Center.
Yes, I did.
Harlem Civic Center. Anyway, we would need to look at the schedule and make sure that it works, for them to use the facility for 3 days in a row. But a revival, there was, I'm sorry, excuse me.
19th through the 23rd, 5 nights.
Oh, I can't count. So, I do know that, you know, and a couple of years ago, there was another revival, and we required a special event permit, so.
Was it in a building, Margaret?
Nope, it was a tent, and I was the one that did it.
But was it inside a building or outside?
Outside.
Was it on the property?
It was
on our
outside.
property.
It was on your property, Pastor McNeely, because I was the one that did the,
There was one a couple years ago too on A.A. Thomas as well. That's been about 5 years ago.
So anyway, that's, how that would be handled, and we would need to get that information as soon as possible, so we could get it on the books.
So do we know if we have anything else on the books? Do we know if there's something else already on
I
there?
don't know for sure.
Okay.
We have a couple of events that have been, scheduled that are out there, but that doesn't sound familiar. but-
Okay.
Yeah, for those 5 nights, we would not use the bathroom. It's 1 hour they're gonna do the revival. They can go home after that.
Oh, so this would just be for the
That's so
special
So we're
event?
not gonna even go in the civic center
Okay.
for any reason. It's gonna be 1 hour in the park.
Okay.
And so we have to do a special event for that?
Well, how many folks are gonna be there? And where are
You
they
know-
gonna
Depends on
park?
what the Lord brings.
Where they always park, at the parking lot at the, civic center.
If it rains, he ain't gonna have 12 people there.
So that's tell them, and if
Yep.
it rains,
Okay.
might be 10.
Boy, you ain't right.
Now look,
So,
can you tell me any preacher that only preaches 1 hour?
Yeah, we have some.
We go on with it. We don't know time limit, so just checking.
We did a sunrise service in
And 1 hour, just checking.
For the last year and a half, Greater Friendship has had a service at 9:30 to 10:30.
It's, yeah.
With the
it's
pastor
time
preaching a
sensitive.
message.
Wow.
Oh, good.
So board, we're just
They're not
following
Pentecostal.
policy. And
Right.
s-
Pretty
and
incredible.
So we're trying to be consistent.
Yep.
And so,
So we got several different things
But
here going on
the-
at one time.
So, yeah, we got a bunch of things. So let's try to nip in the bud the one that we made a motion on.
But right
Mr.
now,
Chair.
we have a motion and a second on the, and we need to clear that before we move forward.
Okay.
Can you
And
read?
that was for the
Juneteenth.
the Juneteenth, and that was a waiver of fees for the Juneteenth.
Waiver the fees, but a collection of the deposit.
Right.
Yep,
In the
but waiver
bathrooms?
of the special permit fee
$50.
only, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
That
They
was
gotta
what's on
hire
the floor right now.
Y'all's designated
I think you
supervisor.
already had a
That
motion.
So,
take-
ma'am,
You already had a motion.
yes, ma'am, we got a motion and a second. I'm just making sure, any other discussion on that one?
Is that
All
those-
just
on that one.
bathrooms?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So now we need to back up. If you want to take care of the policy thing, we need to back up and take care of that now, or do you want to do that at a later date?
Later date.
So the first policy item, Ms. Davis, I would say is that if an entity wants to have a recurring event, first off, the biggest thing speaks to their track record. You know, if an entity wants to start renting the facility at the end of Davison Road, or I don't know what the Hookers Point Park is at the other end of Davison Road.
That's the $200
But if they wanna
deposit.
start doing that, they need to be in good standing with the county. And then we'll look at that on a case by case scenario. But I think that calendar should be set, and we should allow people. I think personally, taxpayers pay for those facilities. We should try to use them as much as we possibly can. When a facility sits idle, it actually harms it more than it helps it.
But use it without waiving the fees.
Use it without waiving the fees. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, once again, that's case by case. If Acton Citizens for Children comes to us, which was Brenda, Mercedes, a whole herd of humans, Wendy Weaver, Danielle, all of them, they come to us and they say, we want to have a school yearbook drive or a school backpack drive in August. We want to have a reading night in September. You know, we want to feed kids in October. And would y'all consider waiving the 50? Because they're taking literally every dollar and cent and pushing it towards program cost. You know, I think that's a discussion that we have, but you know, I'm willing to entertain waiving that on them. However, if Active Citizens for Children wants to have a quarter auction night and raise money for their end of year celebration to pay for the Winterfest, I ain't waiving that, because they're going to take money in. They need to take money right out of their proceeds and push it towards
Yeah.
us being able to cover the cost of our facilities. So that's just an easy example of somebody that I could pick on personally, and we can talk about that. It's just to give it so we can put it in a personification standpoint.
I would recommend you allow us to come up with some options and bring it back to
I
you.
love that idea, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And in the interim, I just wanted to be stated, I'm a huge proponent of our facilities being used more than less.
I need clarification for the next event that they spoke of.
The revival.
The revival,
Revival,
they're not using our facility. They said they're not gonna use our bathrooms to pee in.
they use our parking.
They're gonna use our parking lot.
And so we need to know exactly what the dates are and when, so that if we do have an event, like a wedding or something that wants to be occurred, then we need to make sure that, you know, we're doing the right thing on allowing, if we say you can't, they can park there and we tell the wedding event person, no, you can't because there's not gonna be enough parking.
Mr.
That's
Chair,
something that can
I
be
think
resolved
needs
is
to be
by looking at the
staff
calendar,
resolved with
right?
them, working with them. Yeah, I don't think the board needs to vet this tonight, July 19th through the 23rd.
I just wanted to bring that up because these are the things that we.
No, it's a
have
great
to
point,
consider.
Ms. Embledge, yeah. Yeah, you're having your engagement or your shower for your baby, and,
Say, Margaret, do
They're
they have
hot.
to fill out an app for the
Reverend Gill, they
revival?
want something else for free.
Do they have to fill out an app for the
Necessarily
revival?
need to go to make sure we get this locked in
Margaret.
tomorrow.
That's what I would
And
say.
if parking became an issue, we
Don't have to park there.
send everybody down to Great Friendship Park in our parking lot. They walk
And
down
we'll,
to the
yeah, we'll
revival.
walk back, yeah.
Cool.
Do they have to fill out an app or not?
We will make anything work for that community.
So we need to make sure we have clarity, so we can tell the others, here's what the Board of County Commissioners tell us we cannot do, here what the fees are, and these are what we need to
Okay,
apply.
that's a
Okay.
question. Yeah.
Commissioner Harris, to answer your question, we don't know at this point in time whether they need an application or not, because we don't really know the breadth and depth of their revival. But every revival we've had before, whether it's on east side or west side, wherever, has required a special event permit. And so we'll have to work with them to get, clarity on what they're going to be doing and how long and so on and so forth, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So tomorrow you need me to give you a tentative agenda of that? I need to see you as early as possible to relay this to the other pastors.
I don't get up that early.
Whenever time you're available. I need to get this.
All right.
She gets up that early. I send her emails and she
Take care of
replies.
that.
Cool.
What's that?
Make sure that you send your revival dates to the other side of the county,
Yeah.
or we'll
email
attend.
them.
We love revivals, so just make sure you let us know what the dates are.
You gonna bring Commissioner Turner with you?
Roll.
I can't speak for Commissioner Turner. I'm gonna bring Commissioner Harris, and he's gonna be on the front row.
Just like a Philadelphia lawyer.
I'm gonna bring a 5-gallon bucket of oil. We're gonna fix him. Okay. We have this proclamation we need to take care of.
We got two.
And that was Elise, correct?
Elsie.
Alcee.
Alcee. I knew I was gonna mess it up by reading that. I do it at weddings too, so it is what it is. Proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County, Florida, recognizing the Honorable Alcee Lamar Hastings. Whereas Alcee Lamar Hastings was born in Altamont Springs, Florida, September 5th, 1936. Passed away on April 6th, 2021. Whereas Alice Lamar Hastings attended Howard University in Washington, D.C. and Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, where he earned his Bachelor in Arts degree in the zoology and botany in 1958. Slow down. Howard University School of Law, Florida A&M University College of Law, where he earned his Juris Doctorate as was admitted in the bar in 1963 and began practicing law. Whereas Alice Hastings became a judge of the Circuit Court of Broward County in 1977, was nominated by President Jimmy Carter to the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida, where he served as United States District Judge for 10 years as the first black federal judge in Florida. Whereas Alice Hastings was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1992, represented Florida's 23rd District, and due to redistricting has represented Florida's 20th District from January 2013 until his death, winning his election 15 times and making him the longest-serving member of the Florida delegation. Whereas Alice Lamar Hastings held many leadership positions, including Vice Chairman of the House Rules Committee, Chair of the U.S. Zelensky Commission, Dean and Co-Chair of the Florida delegation, Senior Democratic Whip, Co-Chair of the Congressional Caucus on the Global Road Safety International Conservation Caucus and Sportsman's Caucus. Whereas Alicia Lamar Hastings was also a member of the Congressional Arts Caucus, After School Caucus, Congressional Next Gen 911 Caucus, United States Congressional International Conservation Caucus, Veterinary Medicine Caucus, U.S.-Japan Caucus, Medicare for All Caucus, and Blue Collar Caucus. Lord Jesus. Y'all testing me, ain't you? Next thing you know, y'all gonna bring in some different words like Hebrew and Latin. And now therefore, the Hendry County Board of County Commissioners here, County, Florida, wishes to honor and recognize the Honorable Alicia Lamar Hastings, duly considered and adopted by the Board of County Commissioners of Hendry County this 8th day of June, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any discussion?
A discussion for me.
Okay.
We certainly appreciate the proclamation for Congressman Al.C.
Alcee?
We certainly appreciate it.
It's kind of like all the ites in the Bible. Yeah.
But what I would like to add to that, and it's not in there, just to make it a part of records, that Al.C. serves our county, I think, in a magnificent way. That Harlem Library that you all see out in Harlem, he is the product of that $125,000 banquet one Saturday night that we didn't pay special event fees for and all like that. And that computer lab that's in that library, that's compliments of his office. So I think that what they have is what really was nationwide, but there was a personal relationship with him here in Henry County. I think you all could attest to that. So thank you all very much.
Ms. Taylor, he was instrumental in our health department receiving funding as
Yes.
well, correct?
And Senator Ken Janney.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
very much so. That is how Senator Janney and him worked so hard with that, with the Coolisone Health Department, along with Dr. Valiant.
Dr. Valiant, yes, ma'am.
That is how my name is on that building out there from that work.
Okay, we'll close this out then. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Ms. Taylor, we're also, I'm service chair of the LACO Coalition, and we unanimously passed for a proclamation to be given to you all as well for your Juneteenth celebration from the LACO Coalition, which is multiple
Praise the
counties.
Lord.
And I know that all the other, I think pretty much every other county there had mentioned, yes, ma'am, they were gonna do something
And
along those lines.
I think that Commissioner DeGlacier was on a call, we was on Friday morning.
Yeah, I'll be
for the
bringing
water
that up.
issues, I'm on that thing, and they said that if Al.C. was still in office, we wouldn't be having to go and run up and find some congressman to help us in the water issue that we had. So I thank you for your service on that board.
Thank you.
Taking a picture?
Reverend Patrick? Jennifer, did we not get Mrs. Thomas?
We do. We have, that's next.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trying to make
I didn't see it on the agenda.
It's an add-on.
Okay. We have to wait for it.
No, we're gonna do it right now.
I know, right?
Okay, I'm gonna suck it in.
Seriously, y'all. They're like gum.
Hey, Jennifer, have we taken this off in LaBelle?
That's what I was looking for. Yep.
Have we taken these off in LaBelle?
No, you ready?
Are y'all ready? Can I make a motion?
We've all been vaccinated, right?
No.
No.
Yes.
Me and Mitch had.
Randy.
I had a
Two
blood
here.
transfusion about 25 years ago. I'm good.
I'm pretty sure my antibodies are up.
Mine are still good too. Okay, we have another proclamation. The Board of County Commissioners, County of Florida, recognizing Johnny Summers as the oldest man in Harlem, Florida. Mr. Summers, is he with us?
No, he's not, because this is gonna be presented to him at Juneteenth.
Is it?
And at his age, he didn't wanna do a double presentation.
Okay, whereas Mr. Johnny Summers was born on May 20th, 1928 in Carthage, Mississippi, whereas Mr. Summers' parents, Bertha Douglas and Willie Summers, had 2 girls and 4 sons. His parents moved the family to Louisiana while in the 4th grade. Mr. Summers decided to leave school to work so he could help his family. Whereas in 1956, Mr. Summers began traveling back and forth to Clewiston seasonally to work at the sugar mill. In 1960, he relocated his wife and children to Clewiston permanently, moving to Tennessee Street, which is known today as Della Tobias Street. Whereas Mr. Summers eventually left the sugar mill and began working for the Ford automobile dealership, where he became the first black mechanic. He continued working there until his retirement after 40 years. Whereas among family, which includes 12 children, 25 grandchildren, 35 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. My brother got a lot of return on his investment. Mr. Summers is revered as the kindest man you'll ever meet with love for God. On any given day, Mr. Summers can be seen walking around Harlem checking on neighbors and friends. Therefore, Hendry County Board of County Commissioners, Hendry County, Florida, wishes to honor and recognize Mr. Johnny Summers as the oldest man in Harlem, duly considered and adopted by the County Commission of Hendry County this 8th day of June, 2021. Amazing.
Approved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you again. And when he visit these people, he don't take a seat. He kneels down on one knee, talk to them, get up and go. And you know, if you get down there, you can't get up.
I can't do it now.
Is he still,
I can't.
you know,
Okay.
when I worked at K&J back in the 80s, he'd come in every day and he's as quiet as a mouse.
Yes, it is. I think we need to give people their flowers while they can thing, and it's just great for us to be able to honor that. His granddaughter's gonna be one of our speakers to CORE, and so we want to honor him as well as honor her. Thank
Cool.
you.
No, very good. Very good.
And we want everybody to know that you
Hey, why
are.
we can't just substitute the agenda for the next? Come on, man, you're
Use the-
killing me with all these.
We won't ever do this again. We
Good
won't ever do
Lord.
three again. It's just-
Can't use the one photo.
And you all come and use the park. It's no fee for the park.
Hey,
It's just free, public thing, no fee.
Y'all know y'all gotta Photoshop that thing in, right?
Thank
Okay,
you all
try this
so much.
again.
And we have a 6 o'clock meeting with economic development from Fort Myers, so we have to leave. You stay.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda tonight is public hearings, petition CPA 200010.
so this will be carried over.
Re-advertised for July
see, yes.
27th.
So no action need to be taken. We're good.
No action.
So we're gonna move to petition number CPA 20-0009.
Request for
And you're still up.
capital improvement.
I'll make a motion to approve the projects listed in the capital improvement schedule.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Harris. This is a hearing of the public, so if anyone in the public would like to speak at this time, if you would come forward, state your name. Any further discussion on the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Pastor Griffiths, let's go ahead and have you come up there. You want to speak tonight?
Thank you so much. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the Hendry County Commissioners for working with us with Brown Sugar Festival. I want to thank you for everything that you did. I know some of you bent over backwards, and it was a big rush, and I just want to let you know that we appreciate it. And we actually had a very good festival. It was very peaceful, very quiet. Everybody had a great time until we shut it down. And then we had a problem. People didn't want to go home. Commissioner Turner, just didn't want to go home. They just love Harlem that much. But I just wanted to take this time to thank you. Continue to pray for the family, the Sankey family, and our hearts all go out to them. But in my prayers, I realized that things could have been worse. People told us constantly that if you don't do anything, we'll do something. And so it could have been without any organization, without your help. It could have been people with pure bedlam on that day if had not we done anything. So I just want to thank you for that, because I think we did stop some stuff that could have happened from happening. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. It's gonna bring us to staff reports. Mr. Lapp.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. First item we have is the refinancing of the debt for Plus. Port LaBelle utility system. So that's been in front of you previously to inform you and to hire the bond counsel that was handling it. And he's here tonight. That's Ritesh Patel. And then the financial advisor, which did all the amortization calculations, is also here. Mr. Will Reed with Ford & Associates. So they're both here if you have any questions. But your action item is to approve the resolution that's in your packet.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the resolution to refinance the debt associated with the bond for Carrying Plus. And looks like you all went to work, 11 banks, and got your rate, and we're moving this thing forward.
Right, and the one piece of information I didn't have in the staff report that I have now, as far as the savings, and the financial advisor, Mr. Reed, calculated this. It's in today's dollars, it's going to be over $1 million in saved interest from the
that's great.
refinancing.
What about the other dollars?
That's actual dollars to say. It's 2.3 million as far as the actual dollars and checks that you'll be writing. It'll be 2.3 million less, about 2.3. But
Over what
most-
time frame?
2046 would have been the end.
Really, 2036.
2036 now will be our new deadline, but our old deadline was 2046.
Cut off 10 years.
We got differing terms, with what we're replacing, with what we're getting now. The actual dollars of checks that will be written will be less, $2.3 million less, but most of that savings is in later years, so it's not worth as much then as it is now. So the calculated to today's dollars, the savings is $1,055,000.
Didn't we go on refinance Banyan Village?
Yes, so you're talking about the water lines? Wait,
No,
no.
we
I
did
thought-
not include Banyan Village.
No,
We
but I
talked
mean,
about
didn't
it.
we do that a few years back?
No.
Okay, yeah, so this is for the purchase of the utility system from GDU, and it's for the new water plant at Plus in 2007. That's what you've just refinanced. The water lines were funded by borrowing from the escrow accounts that were created when Port LaBelle was developed. The state required GDC to have escrow accounts, so it was a borrowing from that. We looked into that for this and found it just was not feasible because the pledge for that borrowing is the special assessments that were imposed on the Banyan Village lot owners.
Right.
Whereas this money that's being repaid under this debt is basically the utility revenues, the monthly bills that people pay
Okay.
for water use.
I understand.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
so we have a motion on the floor for this. I'm excited about the savings.
So we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is appointing a homeowner to the Value Adjustment Board. I did never hear back from Mr. Howell, so I don't,
He said he'd serve.
okay,
I called him.
okay. So if that's your board's pleasure, you can make that decision. It's
Didn't
up to you.
appoint somebody else.
I'll make a motion. Did you make a motion, Mr. Harris?
No.
I make a motion to appoint Mr. Marty Howe to serve as the county commission's appointee to the VAB.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion?
Just to be clear, this will take the form of a resolution that I'll prepare, and that's what you're approving.
Okay.
The resolution will come back before us.
Well, no, to
Okay.
take care of it.
10-4.
It'll just be, it'll say whereas, and you're
Yes, sir.
appointing Marty Howell for
Gotcha.
another year.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You heard that.
Whereas. Next.
Next is water and wastewater service for Western Hendry County. We've
Make a
been,
motion to perform option number 1, if that's still what you agree with.
yes.
Second.
To direct staff to negotiate an interlocal agreement with the city of LaBelle for provision of city water and wastewater service to the State Road 80 corridor and unincorporated Hendry County to bring the agreement back to the board for consideration.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
This next item, I don't know, did we get an update on whether that was paid? Want me to say? this
Has he paid or not?
He paid for the terminal, but not the hangar.
All right, so do we want to sue him?
But he said he would turn in the hangar check today.
How many more days do you want?
And we have insurance
Yeah,
issues that we have to
so-
deal with that's due tomorrow.
Yeah, well, so I jumped ahead a little bit. So let me just give a little background and then ask for an
A
action.
little background,
Yeah.
because there's a lot in the background here, and we've all read it.
All right, so the
Okay.
latest up information is the rent still, we don't think it's been paid. I don't know if Kim's staff got it or Tommy got it, or he said he was paying it today. Maybe Ms. Rentz at the
But he possibly-
terminal. I don't know. He might have paid today and we're not
In
aware.
the mail.
And so that's an unknown item. He also had insurance that was, he had no insurance in place, so that had to be taken care of by tomorrow. He said he was going to take care of that today as well. Haven't seen anything yet. And then he also had an issue where the plane is, for this T-hanger, is leased in the name of Mr., I get his first name and last name mixed up, Vincent. It's in his personal name, and I'm not sure that the plane that he keeps in there is his plane. It might be somebody else's, and that's not
That's not within
allowed
kosher
under
of our
our-
lease
under-
agreement.
So he's got a
What's
few.
happening with everybody?
Yeah, so he's got a few outstanding items. Maybe he's resolved a couple, I'm not sure. We don't meet again for another 7 weeks. So maybe if you want to go on an authorized litigation, but then direct that we hold off doing
I'll
it.
make a
Yeah,
motion.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna authorize the filing of litigation,
And I'm
but
gonna
have it
second
on staff's discretion.
Okay.
We got a motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Byrd. Any further discussion on that?
No discussion on this, but I do want to have one little sidebar discussion on T-hangers. But,
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I just think it's time for us, I don't know what Airglades is doing, and I don't know if y'all want to do it in LaBelle first and then Airglades later, but I think it's time for us to build some T-hangers. Ms. Barano, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all would know better. We have a waiting list on people that are wanting to rent hangar space, correct?
Big, 50,
50 on a waiting list?
yeah.
And I know construction prices are absurd right now, but I think this is something that would pay for itself rather quickly.
Look,
And then I think there's a
Like that, don't you? Sean?
symbiotic effect that, because they're gonna buy more fuel, they're gonna eat at the rest, so on and so forth. So just something I think we ought to consider.
why can't we?
I would entertain anything from staff, Mr. Chair, coming back to us and saying, hey, a metal building doesn't cost much to put up.
Real quick question, though. How many of those are filled with planes and how many of them are filled with storage?
Seems quiet, don't it?
All the planes, all the hangars at LaBelle are filled with aircraft.
Okay, 'cause I know at one point we had a lot of them being used as storage, not planes, so.
I know, I can't speak specifically, but I guarantee if you performed an inspection in Clewiston, a majority of them are planes, but there's a handful that would probably shock us with the number of covered storage. I'll leave it at that.
Right.
It's really nice covered storage, so.
Shane,
You're ahead of the game because tonight you approved a design contract with AECom for 20 new hangars.
Oh,
at LaBelle.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
why can't you use that 150 for more?
Which 150?
Well, you'd have transferred from Airglades, so.
It was 600.
That goes to the
600.
taxiway B extension project, which will set up for future corporate hangars, which we have one person already interested.
So you already had that money spent?
We spent it tonight.
Sidewalks.
That's why we transferred. That's why you said thank you.
How soon you forget.
Good Lord have mercy.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I had one add-on, if you
Yes,
want
sir.
to do my, I sent you
Right.
the report today. The 701 Kell Mill Boulevard, we've got
Right.
some code enforcement liens that we're asking that authorization be given. This is the 701 Kell Mill.
I'll make a motion to approve with all the monies going back to code enforcement.
I second that motion with all the money going back to code enforcement.
And to be clear about all, that you.
Whatever the proceeds render.
But
Yeah.
the proceeds are gonna be
15,
15,000 and
yeah.
change. The outstanding the liens are 6,000 and
yeah.
change. So how much is going to code
I
enforcement?
want the
15,000.
liens
What?
The
to go to code
difference.
enforcement.
Yes.
Which,
So wait, I just said different than what you said. You said just the lien amount?
Just the lien
I
amount.
said put 100% back in code enforcement.
Okay,
Yep.
let's go with it.
Who's gonna?
I'll revise my motion to that.
Is it gonna cost the county anything?
no, this is just, you're deciding where to allocate your proceeds to what
So if
general
we
fund
put the
or
whole
code enforcement.
15 in there, that
Margaret, spend it wisely.
would be fine.
She's already.
got a motion
spent
by
it.
Commissioner Iglesias, second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Parker?
The airport advisory board is strong. There's some serious players on that thing.
I'm looking for the reappointment of Wayne Smith and Tuesday Tripp.
So moved. And in addition to Clyde.
Well, you've got three candidates, Michael Swindle, Clyde Johnson, and Keith Daniels.
I'll make a motion for Mike Swindle and Clyde Johnson.
I
And
second it.
Keith.
It's only two.
Oh, you got room for two. Oh, I thought it was for three. Okay, I'm sorry. So Commissioner Iglesias, your motion is for Clyde Johnson and
Mike
Superintendent Swindle.
Yep.
Second that motion.
Clarification, Chairman, is it Clyde Johnson for the term expiration of June 30th,
24.
It's
24.
only-
Well, there's one to 2022 and one to 2024, they're staggered terms.
Let's give Johnson 2024 and Swindle 2022.
So we got a motion by Commissioner Iglesias, second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Parker.
For the record, and clerk again, MSBU assessments for trend notice. In a nutshell, we're decreasing some lighting MSBUs and increasing, and recommending an increase in the solid waste and trend notice. But first, I want to talk about mosquito control because the board agreed to provide mosquito control services to Lansing and the Port LaBelle CBD. We have to adopt an initial assessment resolution. I want to clarify in regards to Van Village, where there's really nobody out there but one home, and they're starting to build homes that when a home comes online, we're only going to assess that block in which the homes are located. Everybody else will be $0. And then in Hookers Point Lighting District, we looked at the lighting bills, and 2 straight years, lighting bills were down, so we believe there's a reduction required for all the various subsets in the Hookers Point Lighting MSBU. And then Port LaBelle Lighting MSBU, same thing, a reduction we're recommending there. Any questions on that before I get to solid waste?
There you go. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's
And
coming.
what about mosquito control? I was on the road one day and pulled over, and the lady handed me her tax bill. It was, I think, 300 for mosquitoes, and 400 for fire. $700, just like that.
It just depends on her property, where it's located. We go per the rate schedule.
Well, I wouldn't care where it's located. That's too much money.
What if she has? How can you just arbitrarily say it's too much money?
Well, it was $700.
He's gonna stir it
How,
up.
how much mosquito control is she getting? How many fire
Little
calls?
truck goes by.
Oh Lord!
How much do you pay
I think it's $1,300.
for mosquito control?
Yep, for every property.
For your business, what do you pay?
What's the flat rate? If it's per square foot in Hookers Point, is it not? Hold on, let me look, sir.
Cents a square foot for
Say again?
commercial. 10 cents a square foot for commercial.
$330 we pay.
What's the max of 200 though?
Well, a max of 200.
$200 we pay.
But you're not there at night.
And the same truck comes by, and everybody says that thing doesn't do anything but make them angry.
Yeah, I can't see paying $300 and a truck come by ever so often. Just say, you're not gonna say no?
I think that parcel's 2 or 3 parcels.
I don't care if it's
I don't
several.
know the parcel in question or location, so I can't really.
I'm guessing, but I think I know. and
Can
I
you
think
bring us
it's-
that tax bill to the next meeting?
Well, it wouldn't matter to me. I mean, if you got 5 acres, you can only kill so many mosquitoes.
They're not really killing them.
No,
Let's
they're
just-
just fat.
It's a different, there's a different form of what they're
Just
actually doing.
cut 40 feet off his next sidewalk project and pay that lady's bill.
No.
So what's, can we move on to solid waste?
Yeah.
This one's gonna take a while.
Okay.
Okay, Chairman, currently, the residential unit charge, I'm not gonna do it all the way partial and total hardships and all that, but just, the current residential unit charge is $235. The cost for us to provide the service for solid waste collection and disposal in 2018-19 was $274, and in 1920, it was $300 a residential unit. 2021, we're anticipating that cost to be $335. And then
How upside down is the solid waste MSBU?
we're not upside down yet, but You just approved, basically an $8.03 residential unit increase due to the contract with WCI. They're entitled to ask for CPI, and it was granted. So if Lee County, if everything was perfect and everything stayed the same and Lee County's rate charges didn't go up, then it would be $343 per residential unit. But we're anticipating Lee County going up on their solid waste disposal costs. We have not got that yet. You should be getting that here soon. But we're anticipating $357 next year, and then in 22, 23, $389. I'm basing that on, historically, they went up 12% on disposal costs. Oh, sorry. Our disposal costs went up 12% and then 15%.
So you're gonna go up at least 3 years.
Yes, sir. I'm giving you two options to consider. The first one is option one, $360 for 3 years for duration of this contract with WCI. Or you could do option two. We have a little bit of money in contingency that we're rolling through. It could be $335 for 1 more year. But if these costs do go up as anticipated, you would need to increase it to $373 for the next 2 years to balance the budget. The intent would be that we would go out and solicit an invitation to bid, if the board agrees, for a franchise hauler services in FYI 23-24, and have the contract ironed out, and we've got to have the rates lined up before this time in that year, so that we can have the contractor start 24-25, and we have the assessments correct.
We also want to potentially look at renegotiating or talk about the Lee County rates as well between now and then.
So you have a chance to come down, but right now, for the trim notice, I need to know if you want to go
So if you do the
335
But if we did
for
three,
1 year,
here, next year, you know you're gonna have to do something again.
we're going from 221 or 274?
235.
35.
You're going up
221 is what
$100.
it was. Then we cut it in half during the doldrums of the economic down and used our solid MSBU. Nobody's going to remember that, by the way.
yeah,
but if
And
we
then
did,
we're gonna re-implement it from
yeah,
235
330.
35 now, you raise it up
to 335.
335, and that's exactly what.
That's so now we're just break even. So we're not putting any cash in the kitty. We're just covering our costs.
And then
We'll look at the possibility of going 274 2 years consecutive.
not necessarily true. You have contingencies, and we're already gonna be in the hole $60-something thousand, because it's $8 a unit.
Yes, sir.
We've already approved coming up. We really need to be break even
360.
343
Wow.
if they didn't, if disposal costs don't increase. We know what the contractor said.
Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation for the first suggestion that you had, 335.
Okay.
what if we
with-
went 360, and then if we up and then it come down, because you can't go up any higher. You can only go down.
Yeah,
You
you,
can lower it in September when we talk about.
That's a great point, Ms. Bird. So, Ms. Bird, you say 360?
360, we can always lower it.
Bird, did you do that in the form of a motion? I'll second that.
I motion that we go 360, then
Okay.
if it's up too high.
And then
we
we'll
can
see
bring
how
it
many
down
people
in
set their hair on
September.
fire as well.
And you'll know what Lee County's disposal charges.
But we got to get aggressive with them now.
Well, the disposal charges is what they set for everybody. We're gonna know what those are here.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to start looking at the sales. We have to start looking at the long-term contract. We need to really break down that deal and look at how that negotiation
How
is
do you
with the
feel
lease
if
on the
we, when
long-term
we went, if we
conversation.
go out to bid later? What if
3
we-
years?
Yes, 23, 24 in the middle of the third year, beginning of the third year, you'd want to issue that solicitation for a franchise hauler.
We're in the second agreement of the 7?
You got 3 more years of the 7 years.
Okay, the final 7 years.
The final 7.
Yes, sir.
So you want to be in the middle, you want to start early in that third year, issue that invitation to a franchise hauler to then provide services and bid. Then bring it back before you. I'm anticipating there'll be a menu of items to choose from, and we'll probably discuss it before we issue it to make sure we're all on the same page. It'd be 2-day-a-week pickup, 1-day-a-week pickup. They provide large recycling containers, they provide large totes everywhere. They don't provide that. You get to pick through and see what the rates are. That's how we've done it in the past.
Yeah, but the problem is now they're not provided everywhere, and a lot of folks are paying the same rate as the ones that's provided, just so
they're
everybody
high.
knows, and they're not getting the same service.
Right, and that was in the agreement.
And now we're gonna raise it. My hair's on fire,
good.
and I ain't got much left in the back.
In the beginning, when we did that contract the first time, it was only set areas were getting.
Well, I get that, but now you got folks paying the same amount of money and they're not getting the same service. And I'm getting chewed out weekly because their garbage cans tore up because they throwed it in the ditch and broke the lid. And I'm having to call them to get another garbage can, that's, everybody else has toters and that's what they tell me. Everybody, they all have the green toters there. Well, I get it, but you were left out in the original agreement, so, but we gotta figure, those folks they're paying the same thing.
Yeah, not getting the same.
And they're not getting the
service.
same service, so it's not apples for apples. And
It's
that's just,
definitely a larger percentage of my district doesn't than does.
mine for sure,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
You talking
Mr.
the
Harris
green-
has all got toters.
You talking the green totals, right? You talking the green totals that they do?
Yes, ma'am. I'm talking about the provided by the waste company, their garbage
Or
cans.
y'all are all city of Coolston,
We,
right?
no,
Y'all,
we're county,
okay,
and we do have the toters,
yeah.
yeah.
All of Harlem had it because the population density is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you call them, they should bring them to you.
No, they don't
Not
have
unless
to.
you're in the
They
right
won't.
region.
They don't have to do that.
Well, they will.
They don't
Large
have to.
expense for the contractor to expend out with only a few years left on the contract. If you're going into one, you're out the bid, you'll get a better deal because they'll have a long-term.
Well, when you get to that third year, you start talking to them, you get a real good deal.
It didn't happen last time.
Well, it will this
That wasn't
time.
your fault.
Well, and keep this in mind, Cape Coral's in worse shape than we are. They can't even get the garbage picked up. So, Lee County, a lot of Lee counties right now, the garbage not even getting picked up because they don't have the people to actually drive the trucks.
They paying.
So we're not in
$10
that bad a shape, but I hate to know that I'm paying $400 and you're paying $400 and I'm getting better service than you.
Well, you shouldn't do that.
But we are.
I know.
That's what's happening.
That's not right.
And like Mr. Turner just said, most of my district, trust me, when this goes out, my phone's gonna blow up. They're gonna say, wait a minute, we paying more now and we still ain't getting no more
They're
service.
paying the drivers $10 an hour.
No, they don't pay them $10 an hour. They make good money.
They pay them 15.
So anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. We're gonna raise something. They're not getting any more. They're not getting the service they get. They ain't
Either
gonna be
we
good.
raise or we going to red.
So Shane, what happened if you went one pickup for everybody?
I figured that last time you were gonna save $20 the whole year, it wasn't worth it. I paid the $20 just to have.
Oh, the hauler's not gonna do it. If that's what you're at. Are you talking about one pickup or are you talking about?
Pickup a week.
Agreement.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, where they make their money is actually on the roll-offs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And we've had that discussion. They were able to charge more on the roll-offs, so they got a cheaper price for the residents, which is understandable. But
The contractors don't
again,
like it.
yes,
But see, if they gotta come by your house 2 times and you cut it to 1, they saving a bunch of money.
well, it's not the amount of trips, Mr. Harris. It's the matter of some of the county residents have the toters and some don't.
Yeah, I know it.
So
But
that's the
they
argument.
come by my house twice.
They do mine too.
Cut them 1, well, they're gonna save money, labor.
Well, it's going up $100, correct? 230 something to 330 something.
Doing $335 would be $100.
So you're going up $100 more a month,
A year.
For the motion
and
to
you're still not
360.
getting the service.
It'd be higher, yeah.
Everybody's phone a ring.
But I motioned to 360 because you can drop it.
Higher to buy all the additional toters. They don't have the money.
No, I get it. I get it. I understand it. But like Commissioner Turner said, not everybody's going to get it. So anyhow, that's mine.
I had put in the form of a motion.
We got a
for
motion by
second it.
Commissioner Byrd,
Okay.
second by Commissioner Turner.
And
Any
just to
further
be-
discussion?
Just to be clear, did we vote on all the other item? I mean, I know you talked about the other items, but there was a vote on everything else?
They would have to go through,
Well, they can say, they
No,
don't have to
we
read
do
them all,
not.
but they can say A through
We-
S.
so,
I thought we were just on solid waste right now.
Mr. Chair, yeah, we did not touch the other ones though,
We
Mr.
did
Chair.
not.
No.
touching that.
Well, we weren't completely
Didn't
done with
vote,
those.
but I
were we?
mean, I'm trying to get a vote, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but for the love of God, can we just vote on the motion that's on the floor right now? Was that blasphemous? I'm sorry.
Group by group.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
Now we can put the rest of them under one window.
Mr. Chair, I recommend to support the Hendry County Special District Assessment Rates as presented for fiscal year 2020-2021.
Do I have a
Second.
Motion
Including
by
the,
Commissioner Turner, second by
Including the
Commissioner
increases and
Iglesias.
decreases.
and including the initial assessment resolution for mosquito that's in the packet.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rich?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the presentation is it possible we could maybe go to, I think everybody's seen the presentation, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to go to, not staffing, but 1 second. Work group recommendation. It's page 5, but I don't know which slide it is because there's 2 slides on each one.
Slide 5, or no, slide 10.
Clear as mud, baby. Did we approve AV upgrades in our consent? Yeah.
Good evening, Commissioners. Richard Lemco, Hendry County Emergency Management. And I also have Chief Stafford and Chief Nelson here who also submitted the staff report. Basically, you've got the package there, but the work group recommendation was to construct a new public safety building for EMS and fire and HCSO. Basically, to co-locate public safety facilities and ultimately during that Gray Skies Day, facilitate and host a special needs shelter in Hendry County. Right now, as you know, the special needs shelter is up in Muse. There's a time distance delay of 40 minutes and many miles from or between Muse and the 3 special areas, Montour, Clewiston, and Moorhaven, and most importantly, the hospital. So, and basically, that Whit Road location is the best location that we came up with between the group of us. We had folks from EMS, the Sheriff's Office, along with Dr. Pepe at his health department, and we also had the school district present there.
Mr. Chair, you want us to weigh in or?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
So it looks like there was a tremendous amount of discussion that occurred. I really appreciate the drawing that's in there, and obviously everyone that participated in that discussion. I guess, I don't know, maybe I have too much small-time contractor mindset in me, but, the way government works, if we had an unlimited checkbook, right? And we could stroke a check for whatever the number is to do a facility, which I would love at Whit Road. And ironically enough, please don't think that I set up my comment earlier today to have a slam dunk here. That's not what I was driving at all. I don't want to build a new facility. I have zero desire to build a new building in Hendry County at this time. Our growth is great. I think it's wonderful. But until we can take everybody up, and until I can give the sheriff exactly what he requests from a standpoint of deputies on either side, and until I hear Ms. Barrineau and Ms. Pittman and everybody else telling me they're paying people 15 plus an hour, and I don't hear about little woes of us freaking out about buying a skid steer or something like that, I don't want to look at building a multi, because in today's market it's going to be $40 to $60 million before you blink your eye. It's probably going to be closer to 100 plus. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Secondly, if we were to start that today, in order for it to meet the guidelines, what are we, 48 months? But let's just say we pull that down and we're 24 months. That's 2 storm seasons, if we're fortunate enough to get in there. And so my concept is still go back to it. Why can't we put a standby emergency generator system in Clewiston Middle School, right on Highway 2780, or in Clewiston High School? Well, I don't know what the ratings are of those facilities, but it has to be pretty high, and have our ability to serve a stronger purpose than what we can right now. And I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on that and tell me why y'all disagree or agree. And then I'd love to hear from you all why we can't legally do that. And then when you tell me we can't legally do it, I want to see it in writing. Because for, I think, 2 years, they told me we can't legally land a helicopter at Henry Regional Medical Center without shutting down multiple roads and all that stuff. And it was a $172,000 knock to our volunteer fire department. And then suddenly, one day we could. We put up a fence. Kevin Rayburn went out there. It's like $4,800. We can land helicopters all day long, and we don't have to have the entire fire department go out there. And I can give example after example of things like that where, trust but verify, I guess would be the phrase. And, you know, in the other cap that I wear many times, the Florida Department of Transportation, we take a bridge right now in New Pass, one of the richest communities probably in the state of Florida, St. Omar Circles, people driving Ferraris and Bentleys and stuff over that thing all day long. And they're spending roughly $4 to $6 million, and they're gonna increase that lifespan of that facility for another 30 years. That's what they think the lifespan is on it. So I think we have beautiful high school, a beautiful middle school. They're right on the corridor. They're right on the strategic intermodal system. And I want to see as expedited as possible. And Quality Electric won't even bid on the generator standby system. We'll just maintenance it if you need us to in the event that there's an emergency. But that's it, and I'd love to hear what y'all think, and I'll hush now.
Did y'all come up with, did y'all talk about the prices when you met?
We didn't get to the pricing, we're getting to the feasibility, what was asked was trying to get something, a special needs shelter in Hendry County, and this is the best approach collectively.
But it sounds like a money deal.
And money, we did consider funding opportunities, but didn't think about how, ultimately we have to get a go-ahead to develop a scope of work, develop a draft, develop a plan before we can even ask for money. We don't know how much money we're asking for, what a project even looks like. We don't have all the stakeholders involved yet. We just have the notion of bringing in a special needs shelter into Hendry County.
Do you think you might?
This is the process. Retrofitting an existing building that was built before 2003 is cost prohibitive to meet ICC 500 standards. It's cost prohibitive to do ADA compliance with ICC 117. Those are requirements that you have to get to in order to meet the Red Cross requirements, in order to meet the shelter requirements. And then there are guidelines that are along the way that are above and beyond those code requirements that get us into a better place for disaster sheltering. But
So do we
it's cost prohibitive.
You would
So
think the Clewiston High School would meet
if we had
that.
newer buildings with more space, it would be great. But special needs sheltering requires 60 feet per person, per resident.
60 square feet per person?
50 square feet per person. So you're looking at 3,000 square feet for 500 people, or for 50 people.
Wait, say that again?
60 square feet per person.
Okay, well, what was your figure? So 50 people, let's say 10 people would require 600 square feet? 10 times 60 is 600.
Yeah.
Okay. How many special needs people did we have housed during, was Irma what was the one?
We had more than 50.
At Muse?
But we only had, I think, maybe 15 at the time.
At West Glades?
Yes.
Yes.
Over 50 people showed up.
We had
And
over
were
50 people for 2 counties.
For 2 counties.
Okay. And then there may have been some extreme East Lee County in there, maybe.
No, probably
No?
not, no.
Okay. And we know that Western Palm Beach County doesn't have a facility either. They do not. The closest special needs shelter is all the way to Royal Palm for them.
And so there is a shelter deficit in the heartland, in the rural areas. That's a known, up in Tallahassee and DEM and in Health Department. That is our lack of shelter preparedness. Last year when we had COVID, and it's not gone, it's still there to some degree.
Doing nothing.
We're back to Red Cross standards of 20 square feet per person in general shelters, and back to 60 square feet. But if there is an outbreak, wherever there is an outbreak, wherever there is a concern, that square footage goes from 60 to 120. And so now you're, once again, with less capacity, like we were last year.
Less capacity overall for any of our
Less
shelters.
capacity overall for everybody,
Yeah.
for all general shelters along with special needs shelter. With that said, retrofitting existing facilities that are older than 2003 don't fit the bill for this. We've tried to retrofit general needs shelters here in Hendry County already at the schools, and we've gotten some traction with that, but since I've been on board, we haven't been able to do anything. It's the engineering that's required to make the span stronger. I have to meet 155.
When you say 155, you're not talking about load. You're talking about a particular statute, or are you talking about 155 miles per hour?
Miles per hour for that facility in order to put those folks in that special needs client in there. So
So what is Clewiston High School? That's one of your newer facilities.
they're rated at category 3.
I would think they would be 150 when it was built, 'cause we've been at 150 for a long time.
They lose integrity over the course of time.
Well, I get that, but
So that was still built before 2003. That was built in what, 96?
No, it's
80 I was-
89, I think. I think it's 89.
They're not, it's still cost prohibitive to do
When
that.
did
89.
Clueston Middle School get retrofitted and what was it?
The middle school,
Yeah,
LaBelle Middle,
Clueston Middle.
I thought it was like 1999 that we got some stuff done. My
Good
predecessor,
God, I hope
Opie,
not.
did some work with that in like 2010.
All right, well,
But it's a minimal amount of retrofitting that you can do. When it came to the money, we approached the money from a grant perspective and legislative asks. And so if you go on later in the slide deck, you can see where we were thinking about.
yeah, I mean, you talk about CDBG faced such and such.
That was the crux of this, was we were trying to get a project that would work for this purpose of bringing in the shelter into Hendry County, as, you know, as we'd like to do, and this is the best fit. And so we can approach and ask for CDBG federal money from FEMA and HUD. And
Let me ask the questions differently then. Let me ask the question differently. Today, let me ask the question differently. You live in Hooker's Point and you're in a wheelchair, okay? Or you live in Flaghole and you're in a wheelchair, or you live in Felda and you're in a wheelchair. You have to make a trek, and I was in a room somewhere where we were physically calling people saying, do we need to send a Goodwill's bus to your house to pick you up, to take you to Muse? We actually got a lot of declines on that, but we had a handful of people that took us up on that. Right now, what I'm understanding is from a legality standpoint, there's no way we can legally house someone. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get someone out of their trailer in Twin Lakes and get them to Clueston High School or Clueston Middle School to be safer, because it stands a whole heck of a lot better chance of withstanding any kind of a storm versus their trailer. And I hope people don't take that as disrespectful to those that live in a trailer home, but there's a ton of people, especially my constituents, that live in trailers. And so I want to make sure that there's an opportunity for them to get to a special needs shelter. Answer that.
The special needs shelter is in, our clients, our residents are asked to register with the health department, register with emergency management.
Yes, sir.
And then they go through the process of being accepted into the special needs program. It's not, hey, I'd like a seat at the special needs shelter. Anybody could go to a general shelter, but these are folks that require an additional amount of assistance.
Yes, sir.
From their friends, their family, and the general public, you know, us.
Yes, sir.
And these are people that are mobility limited, communications limited.
I know oxygen was a big thing.
Oxygen.
Yeah.
And electrical dependency.
Yes, sir.
And these are the reasons that they're going to that special needs, or applying for special needs registration.
Yes, sir.
The health department takes a nurse, they take a look at it, and if that person doesn't fit the bill for that residency, we direct them between the two agencies, to the hospital, to a nursing home, or somewhere else. Not everybody is gonna be accepted.
Okay,
Because
so we just
don't
limited
have
the population even
We
more.
don't have the capacity at the health department to take anybody, because some of these folks really do need to be in a hospital.
Yes, sir.
And, yeah, they're living at home, isolated, but they probably need to be in an assisted living facility or a hospital.
Okay.
But
At one
they come
point-
out of the woodworks.
At
They
one
come out of the
point,
woodworks
we set up the VFW as a special needs shelter. We did that.
years ago, so.
I ain't been that many years ago, but we did do that. That is a small building, that's
Old building.
old building. My point is, we should have some facility on this side of the county, more than our side. We have that facility at West Glades, it's
We do.
amazing. So we should be able to pick up one of these schools, and I would think the biggest problem with the middle school would be a water event in case we had an issue with the levee. So, but the high school, I mean, we're talking about retrofitting. It's not that expensive to retrofit. The biggest portion is gonna be getting your generator power to the areas that you need it, because most of our shelters only feed outlets, and they feed air handlers.
That's it.
In the special needs, you gotta have AC, and you gotta have the outlets. So your electrical contractor, it's not that big of a deal to go in there and retrofit that building and get it online for that situation.
But I think it's the wind rating as
But,
well.
it is, but still, I mean, that's the Clueston High School, they inspect these buildings. That's what determines whether it's a wind, water, or it can't be used at all. We got Pioneer. I mean, I did this for years as well. We have Pioneer that I don't even know if it meets standards, and we use it for a public shelter. It may not meet wind or water now, but we use it for a public shelter. So that being said, the health department over here, the health department, LaBelle, we don't need one in LaBelle as much as we need one on this side of the county.
For the record, Chief Amy Stafford, EMS. One of the issues with the special needs shelter is staffing also. It's staffed by Department of Health, and we have Hendry Glades, Department of Health. They get together to do the special needs shelter, and they work shifts and rotate and things like that. They don't have the staffing to split it into two different places. So they can't have one in Muse for Glades County and then have one over here for us. They're not able to split their staffing. So they're limited. When we do the special needs shelter, we put an EMS unit from Hendry County, and there's also an EMS unit from Glades County that are there throughout the duration of the storm, assisting with the special needs shelter, plus the general population. So talking about splitting it is not necessarily feasible either, or retrofitting a building over here just because they don't have the staff to split it.
Chief, with all due respect, if you build a new facility and you have one in Muse still, isn't that splitting it again?
It's still gonna be there.
Splitting it. We would be moving Muse, we would be building a new building and having the Hendry Glades joint special needs shelter at the new facility.
I don't think Glades County's gonna let that fly.
We shut down the Glades County facility.
That would be used.
You're taking away from them now. You got the whole area of Muse,
Just took an entire
Palmdale.
population center.
It's actually closer.
It's closer,
It's
yeah.
actually closer,
If you look at the map, the way it's positioned.
to
majority of their
Clewiston,
residents
Moorhaven.
come from Moorhaven.
Yeah.
Majority of
This
our
is,
residents-
I hate to sound so negative, but this is exactly why government can't get out of its own way. And, to me, what I heard the chair say and what I've envisioned is getting a standby emergency generator system set up at either Clewiston High School or Clewiston Middle School, which, does that exist today, yes or no?
No, they have to be brought in. High school, yes. Clewiston Middle, no. It has to be brought
I
in.
mean, Clewiston
Clewiston
High
Middle
School.
is not gonna work because it's an island in itself.
That's what I said because of the water with the levee.
When the water rises, or it's not even.
It's
flooded.
never flooded.
But we've always
If
used
you
it.
look at the flood maps though, sir, it is an island. That's what it becomes.
So a Cat 5 and we lose Herbert Hoover Dike?
If you get
Well, at that point,
10
we're
inches
losing-
of rain.
10 inches of
South
rain?
Bay and everything
We had
else.
14 during Wilma.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, I'm giving facts. You give me some. Clewiston Middle School flooded. When?
I don't know.
Okay.
But the school on the flood maps does not flood. It becomes an island in itself.
So you can't access.
That means she's not gonna take anybody from that shelter to the hospital. That's it. This is also a primary concern that we looked at. We're looking at proximity to the people to drive themselves, proximity to the people for us to drive all the way out of county and drive a bus load of 3 or 4 at a time to Muse and then come pick more people up. Because we're gonna do that.
Why would
all the way
Muse
up.
not go straight up 29 to West Glades?
Why would what, say?
Muse not go straight up, why would Muse not just stay at West Glades? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring a facility that doesn't exist
We've got
today online.
transportation Requirements, right? We're gonna try to assist these folks getting into that special needs shelter, specifically to Muse. Amy's gonna help, school district's gonna help, and then our transportation authority is gonna help, up until a certain point. But we're gonna be working, trying to get those people over there. It would be easier to do that in a better location that's more centralized to our folks.
Today, no facility exists on this side of the county,
You're right.
okay? What I'm saying is, and what I'm hearing is, it's a fiscal and an actual impossibility to create a facility unless we build it from ground up. We cannot have the abilities to meet any special needs requirements on this side of the county, is what I'm being told.
Our third recommendation was to expand the health departments on their present campuses and make it larger. The big deal is we've got a bunch of different entities that come in from public safety to support this mission. We want them to be co-located as much as possible. That's why we thought about this right here. We've got EMS that has to stage. Why stage them out of county? Why stage them away from where they need to be in the first place? Stage them at a place that's going to facilitate what you asked for. We want this here in the largest population area. I mean, I get it. Muse has got a great school and a great building that was built in 2006. It was agreed upon between the two counties that that's where we were gonna put this joint shelter, and it works. For whatever, if we were to try to put something in like what you're talking about, I don't believe that Dr. Pepe would go for it. I don't believe.
I don't need Dr. Pepe to go for it. What I need is about $500,000 to put an emergency standby generator system at Clueston High School or Clueston Middle School.
And so he does have to go with it.
Okay, then we can supersede him and go straight to the Department of Health in the state of Florida. Because right now, our constituents don't have protection during a storm.
They do.
I don't understand. No, they do not. They have to go to Muse. They have to go to Muse.
We drive them to Muse.
No, we don't drive them. Do you know how many people turned down the ride because they said, I'm not going to drive all the way to Muse? And what?
You're right.
But had Clueston High School or Clueston Middle School been about, I don't understand why you're being so bullheaded about this. This is absolutely asinine to me that you can't see how simple this solution could be. But we're saying, no, we have to build from ground up, concrete foundation rated for 155 mile per hour wind. I'm all about that. I get it. But in a magic world, which we don't live in, we actually have cost and time frame associated with it. June 1st started hurricane season for 2021. We've done nothing this year to help our constituent base that we didn't do last year. We're still in the same exact predicament today that we were last year. It's a fair statement. Argue that point.
We've got shelter for our residents.
We have shelter for our clients. Have we done anything to decrease the amount of time it takes for a special needs person living in Hookers Point or not Big Cypress, but further down south on 835 to get to Muse? So yes or no? The answer is no. I'll answer it for you. I'm sorry for being rhetorical and aggressive right now. Someone living in a trailer in Twin Lakes Trailer Park or Tropical Mobile Home does not have the ability to get to a facility right now. I'm trying to make a facility that is much more hardened than their trailer be available to them. We're saying we can't do it.
I didn't say that we couldn't do it. We have that place right now in Muse. We're trying to get something here.
You go back to Muse 10 out of 10 times.
That it's got to be the exact same thing or better than what we have in Muse, sir.
Commissioner.
That's the recommendation. You asked us to make a recommendation. We've got 3 recommendations.
Build a new facility.
May I
Absolutely,
speak,
Ms.
please, Chairman? May I speak, please?
Yes, ma'am.
So the board asked for us to come up with options for a special needs shelter in Hendry County. And so right now it's in Glades, and so we came up with, the committee was formed in the sunshine and came up with 3 options for a shelter in Hendry County. Their first option was a new facility on State Road 80, centrally located, closer to Moorhaven, Clewiston, it's probably not equal distance, but close to equal distance to all of our major population centers. It would be a staging center for as our growth comes up for public safety, a training center. It would also be a logistics center during Irma. As you all know, we had issues where the MROs and the water and the gas and all these things were delivered. It would be a central hub.
At Whit Road.
Yes, for something like that.
Perfect situation.
And we own the property.
100%.
Okay, so we have, now I will just say, we wouldn't be bringing this option for you for Hendry County taxpayers. I know it's all taxpayers' dollars and it's all very important, and I know we are all very conservative with fiscal, the money in general. But we have an opportunity to write for 100% grant for this shelter. And so that's why we're bringing this forward, to get this 100% funded. We are not proposing to bring something back to you to build $100 million and take a bond out for a $100 million facility. We have a CDBG MIT round 2 and 3 coming up. We in Hendry County are in a bucket, if you will, or a basket of where the $600 million and $800 million pocket of money has to be spent within a certain geographical area. And we are part of that geographical area. We may or may not get it. We may or may not apply for it, based on your will. But that was the intent, to bring to you conceptually to make sure you were okay with doing that. Now, if you're not, I know that I asked the question, and Amy and Rick will attest, that every time we went over this, I kept drilling them, and they'll agree. What about existing facilities? Why can't we do this in existing facilities? Why can't we do this in an existing school facility? I wasn't specific on which school, but why can't we do it in an existing facility? And the answer has been because they don't meet these certain standards that they're talking about for special needs shelters. They have higher standards than regular shelters. Now, what we hear from you all is you have concerns with that. We can bring something back in writing. We will list out all of our current school facilities, what their current rating is. I think that would be helpful for everybody to see on paper, what their current rating is. And then options 2 and 3, they talked about expanding the current health department facilities was also an option. That is something to think about. But again, we need to pick one location because the health department doesn't have staff to split it. And so I'll let Kevin, Nelson was part of the committee, so.
Thank you, Commissioner. Kevin Nelson, County Sheriff's Office. Yeah, when we met, we were discussing locations, and if you refer back to the sheriff's strategic plan, and we talked about it earlier tonight too, with the East District and West District growing in the middle, we're going to eventually be coming to you to build a substation out there to house the sheriff's office, you know, and the staff that area, you know, Montreux, Pioneer, Beacon, Brandon Village area, because of the growth. So we were looking at the Witt Road property. It's already there. You don't have to buy anything. Looking forward, you know, with the joint residence there, public safety altogether, it's more enticing to the feds to give us the money for grants, because, and plus joining with Glades County as far as the special needs thing, it would be easier to get the grants. So we're looking, you know, not to come here and ask for money, but to give us an opportunity to reach out and see if we can get that money in the building. Save us some money on the building, the EMS station later, sheriff station, fire.
And the frustrating part is we tried to get funding just to harden our buildings. Every storm, they have to leave their facility. We have to try to find some place, and last storm, we had to move them again.
During the storm.
Because, yeah, we're out there getting blown around with plywood. But, and I said, can we just get a grant? Let's harden our facilities. Let's make sure that they don't have to leave. Y'all had to go in the courthouse. There's certain things that, and we got turned down for every bit of that. It was just a flat no.
That's the general population shelters we're talking about. We're talking about special needs.
Yes, sir, I understand that. I'm talking about our needs. I mean, our workers can't even be safe. We have workers staged at the county barn. We got them staged out at the special districts building.
Yeah.
We can't even put their families in there, but we have workers they have to go out in the middle of the storm, and we can't put them in a facility. We got the National Guard out there sleeping all over the building while we're out there working in the middle of the storm. So we really need to look at the folks of Hendry County. And I love the area. I think it's a great idea. I do. I don't think Glades is going to close that one over there. I just don't. I've been wrong before. I hate to admit it, but I've been wrong before.
So what would be the reason to not let them go on and try to get the grant?
I don't have a problem if you can get a grant. I like Commissioner Turner.
Is that what y'all asking for?
Yes, sir, we're asking for permission to go out and to get a scope of work and to get professional rendering and kind of get this all together so that we can apply for the CDBG and all of this. That's all we're asking for.
Well, I don't have a problem with that.
What it's gonna take to get the rendering and the scope of work so that we can go out and see exactly what it's gonna cost and try to apply for these grants.
Right. Because you gotta have a number.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can bring that back to you and request that permission at the July meeting if you would like, with the detailed information on all the existing facilities, if that would please the board.
Why would we'll be holding them up?
No, it's not holding them up. If they don't have that information, then they're not doing their job. We need to know the status of our facility.
You got a cost tonight?
This is dangerously close to Henry County sub-office, Hurricane Wilma. We lost that. Let's knock it down. Let's not have anything back over on this county. The constituents of Henry County got to drive all the way to LaBelle now to go to court only. There is no court over here in Clewiston anymore. I cannot believe that we do not have the capacity to mentally see you live in a structure that cannot withstand. Luckily, Hurricane Wilma didn't destroy us more than what it did. But it did millions of dollars worth of damage. No, it did tens of millions of dollars worth of damage in Hendry County, in eastern Hendry County. Hurricane Irma, by the grace of God, we didn't lose entire neighborhoods. The last one, I can't remember which one it was, but when you get up in a hurricane, when you get up in a helicopter and you see rooftops in Bonita Springs, and I think you took the same helicopter ride, and you go down 833 and you can't see where Lake Okeechobee ends and where it begins, and you're going down to Big Cypress, and I've never seen that big of a sheet flow of water. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, good God, how did we not have people die? And how did we not lose some of the neighborhoods that we didn't lose? And not only did we not lose neighborhoods, we had no loss of life. I'm still dumbfounded by that. But the volume of people that we put into Clueston High School or Clueston Middle School was not very high. It was not very high locally. But when I went to Clueston High School, there was a ton of people that came over from Belle Glade and Royal Palm. There were a ton of people. The mayor of the city of Fort Myers is calling during the storm saying, do y'all have shelter capacity on Highway 80? I said, absolutely, Mayor. Send them. Let's roll. I get chastised because Clueston Middle School is not even open. You know, we can't open it up because it doesn't meet requirements or whatever. And what I'm saying is we have to cut through the bureaucratic nonsense. No one's going to get sued. You know, no one's going to get Henry County caught up in litigation because we open up a facility as a shelter of last resort because we're trying to take people out of neighborhoods that don't have infrastructure, and we're trying to protect life, stop loss of life. And for me, it just, I can't get over, it only takes 2 or 3 people to affect you, but it was 2 or 3 people that I talked to that their humans that are under their care, custody, and control are wheelchair ridden. And they said, Carson, I'm not driving over to Muse. I'm not going to do it. And you should be embarrassed that you don't have a facility that we can go to. You should be embarrassed. That was 2015 or 16?
17.
17 was which hurricane?
Irma.
Irma. So it was 2017, 4 years ago. Today, if that happens, the same situation stands. The same situation stands. Those people got to drive all the way to Muse. And this is a great plan. It's a great idea. Apply for all the dollars you want. We scored through the roof. The fact that we have to have anything, you know, with our low socioeconomic status, or, you know, you want me to list them all out? Teen pregnancy, high infant mortality, type 2 delayed onset, lack of education. I can go through all the socioeconomic standards that score us through the roof on a grant cycle. Guess what? We need to have a short-term solution because that's 36 months if it's a day applying for a grant through any of the federal bureaucracies. Ms. Davis, I'll put you on Front Street. What was the grant? You went down to Immokalee. We were a shoe-in to get it. Remember? You had the administrator came in. Al Perry was still running the city of Clueston. We had the grant writer came in. They did a formal presentation with just you all and said, oh, you guys you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. How many of those dollars did we end up getting? Nada is the answer. So for me, there's at least 2 facilities that are built. They're hard. They're gonna withstand any facility. We may lose a roof. We may do whatever, you know. As y'all can tell, this is something that touches close to home because we get put in these positions to protect those that are the most vulnerable. And by God, when you're living in a trailer and you have someone that's wheelchair ridden and they don't have a pot to pee in and they don't have a vehicle to load them up and they're calling for Goodwills, which is one of the worst providers that I've ever seen in my life, and they're trying to get them to Muse, that's asinine if we're counting on that as to be the level of service. So I'll leave it at that. And thank y'all for getting the public safety transportation needle moved in the right direction. And I don't remember who gave us the presentation last time, but I love the fact that you said the numbers are horrible because you're looking at real numbers.
So does this mean they can go on and get a price?
Sure, they can go on and get a price. They can get artistic rendering. They can have their diagnosis, whatever they need to tell us we got to have this facility. By all means, do it.
Next year, if we have a storm, we'll put them in the same buildings.
We're gonna have a storm in 2021.
When we have a storm this year, we're in the same situation we've been in. We still have standby generators. We still have manual transfers. We still have to hardwire generators in, so.
Correct.
Can we not take some of the CARES funding or American Rescue Plan money for the generators?
So, Ms. Davis, you want to go over old business?
So what, just to close this up, we are asking for permission to go out for a RFQ for an architect to be able to.
On this?
To be able to get a rendering, to get a cost estimate.
That's 6 figures.
I paid $94,000. I'm sorry, let me back up. I didn't pay that. The church paid $94,000 for the drawings to redo the inside of an existing building. I'd hate to know what this one's gonna cost.
So do you have?
That was last year, just so everybody knows, that
Oh,
was
I-
last year.
I mean, we can, I personally, and I've said this a couple times, I would like to see this come to the next board meeting. I would like to bring back the information that was requested, that was, questioned. We have it in writing. We can look at it, we can digest it, we can talk about it
Okay.
with a potential recommendation to move forward, maybe a long-term and a short-term solution.
If we're gonna build a facility at Witt Road, Mr. Chair, the only thing I'm in favor of is that facility has the ability for our sheriff to have his thumbprint all over it. So that for generations to come, he feels as if we can meet growth that's going to potentially occur long after we're all dead and gone.
Mr. Chair, even with that motion coming, can we find out what facility we do have that could be hardened if we did have a storm on this side of the county?
That's what, we'll bring that back, if anything. I do have an agenda addition.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a letter to Congresswoman Frankel.
You want a motion to approve that letter? So moved, Mr. Chair, the letter for Congresswoman, Lois Frankel in
Second.
regards to LOSUM.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Harris. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, I have your old business is in front of you. It was emailed out to you earlier today. If you have any questions. You mentioned the transportation. The numbers did go down in May from April to a total of 428 trips from 658 trips in April. For the trips. Flagpole is still the same where Mr. Martin, I don't know if he's still here, if he has any other updates, but they're working with the Fair Board for funding. Four Corners, the agreement has been received. AIM Engineering is working on a phasing plan to bring back to the board to commence. The post office location improvements. Shane, you want to talk about that briefly?
Okay, for the post office improvements, the one in Pioneer, I'll be working on getting quotes to bring back in July.
Yeah.
Game plan, give me a month to get it done. The one in Montura, Mark said that there was no easements, so I'm assuming that they'd be responsible for repairing that since it's not on our property. The one that the mailboxes that are in
Ladika?
Ladika are on Star Farms property, and I have not had a chance to talk to Mark about how we could construct a structure over that, being its own private property.
Don't talk to him, just do it. It's what Commissioner Harris would do.
Do it on the weekend.
Don't even pull a permit.
That's really all I had in the mailbox.
So let's go back to the mailboxes in Montura. So today is June the 8th. My first meeting was December the 8th. We've been talking about these mailboxes ever since, 6 months. In that meeting, we discussed about each commissioner in every district has issues with mailboxes. The main thing in Montura is it's not the structure, it's having mailboxes. And the post office saying, hey, we're not responsible for it. I thought the understanding was to look at a way that we looked at funding the mailboxes for them. Did we not? It was strictly just a structure?
Yeah,
All
we
I
were talking
want
about
for
the
starters is to get them covered,
Okay.
the existing ones that are there.
So roughly about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we were talking about Wheeler, and that you got the postmaster to put mailboxes
For
in.
the record, Wheeler Estates is incredible.
Okay. So that being said, in that meeting from a couple months ago, and I don't know exactly the date, we were waiting for a letter from the postmaster.
Well, in the meantime, did you get a chance to go meet with Michelle?
No, I have not.
Okay, we spoke the other night about that. Shane's actually gonna meet with the postmaster, and she's been incredibly helpful. They are taking over a portion of Montura. They're gonna be picking up that route.
Isn't that
so-
pertinent, Shane? I mean.
Just had the conversation Thursday.
Yeah, well, I had him, he was working on Wheeler Estates, which is like.
So I gotta pull it out of you. I mean, come on. I ask you this every time I see you. And you know what? I'm gonna take it off my business by district 833. I'm not gonna ask you anymore about 833. But I gotta go out to Monterey and tell these people at some point they're gonna get some mailboxes.
That's a good answer.
Can we answer part of that?
At
I've been
some
dealing
point.
with this, so just the long and the short is, whoever put the mailboxes in are responsible for the mailboxes. If the post office put them in, they will 100% take care of the boxes, if they put them in. But you have to determine, doesn't matter what property it's on, determined by who put the boxes in is who owns those boxes. Now, the post office will service them. They will take care of them at that point. So what you're gonna have to do is determine who owned the box, who put it in. And then you're needing boxes. Hopefully, the portion you're needing boxes in is the new one that you're gonna be picking up.
Correct.
Because she has been steady. Michelle has been incredible. She got, I think, 4 to start with.
Well, can I have Michelle's
adding
number?
2
I
more.
want to start calling her.
Can't do it.
Oh, I'm going to get it.
I'll tell her not to accept it.
You got the number? Okay, can you send that to me? I'm telling you, I don't want to keep talking about it. I mean, it's just like Carson's talking about something that's way more important than this with a hardening of a facility, and he's been going on it for 4 years. I did not get elected to talk about the same thing over and over. I have to have action. I'm impatient. It's just who I am, and I want to get things done. So somehow we're going to get it done.
You didn't ask him about the flagpole?
You want them in Central County's willing to let them put in, I don't see why they couldn't get additional mailboxes.
Central County will give up the land. They already gave up the land that the mailboxes are on now. There's no, we already did the title search. It's on Central County's land. The problem is the post office says they're not going to put any more mailboxes in. That expense should not fall on Central County.
You're saying they're not putting in more mailboxes, the postman?
Correct.
You have that in writing, Commissioner Iglesias?
I don't, but Louis Napolis does, and I can have it tonight.
Okay.
Well, again, we need to find out what your boundaries is, Commissioner. Michelle is taking over a portion of that area, so, and she'll help you. She
Okay.
really helped a lot with getting ours situated.
And I
so-
do feel confident, Mr. Chair, that they said the same thing to Big Cypress Seminole Tribe, the Seminole Tribe of Florida, Big Cypress Reservation specifically. And the Seminole Tribe just said, you know what, okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead and front the mailboxes as long as you promise that you'll utilize them where we put them in. And then they had to meet certain requirements, and then they made it, they put it in part of their EMS building actually, or immediately adjacent to it. It's a really nice little facility.
They
but it's
just have
a
to
little
create
outdoor.
routes all there.
Yes, sir.
That's what I know on that going forward, so.
That falls up on the Hooker's Point too?
That depends on.
No,
who
ma'am,
owns the boxes.
Hooker's
Yes, ma'am.
Point, I know for a fact, like, for example, on Ridgeville Road, is it Melissa, what's the one? On Ridgeville Road and Tammy,
That's private.
those are in horrible condition. But I guarantee you that Sherwood's the same way, yes, sir. I guarantee you that the post office put those up. I feel overtly confident that the post office put that up. And they're not gonna come out there and
Lady
service
that live
those.
out there said she got a key from them, and I told you the Gainesville office said whoever provided the key, that's who responsible for the mailbox.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was the post office, so.
Yeah,
The post office provides all the keys. They redo the locks. But they do not service the box if it does not own it. So you need to verify who owns the box, Commissioner, and I'll give you Michelle's number. She's very helpful. She'll be able to help you.
And to retract, it wasn't Louis Napolis, it was Juan Mata, the chairman of Central County.
The homeowner has to buy them?
No, sir.
They don't.
No, sir.
I bet one knows about Big Cypress.
Okay, business by district. Hey, Shane, what's up, bud? Stay down there. So, I know we did 3 resolutions tonight. I'm going to request another resolution at the next board meeting, and that's going to be to our Department of Health. Because through COVID, those guys have gone, I think, above and beyond, and I just think they need a little bit of recognition. I don't know if we need that in the form of a motion or just a suggestion, but
This has to be put on the agenda.
We can bring that back to the next meeting.
okay. Flag Hole Road. So Friday, I was going out to Montura, and it was raining, and 30 yards in front of me, I saw a car go into the water, and as soon as it hit the water, the canal, water shot up 20, 30 feet in the air, and it scared the hell out of me. And I got out of my truck, ran up to it. As soon as I got there, they were already coming out of the car. We continue to have, wrecks on Flag Hole Road. We know it's a dangerous road. Is there any way we can put like a flashing light just to keep people alert? I think it's because it's a straight shot that people just start speeding. I catch myself going 65, 75 miles an hour down there. I shouldn't. Hey, guys, how y'all doing back there? But by the way, I just think if there's something that we can do there to just get a little flashing light, just, where it says 55 miles an hour is the speed limit, but just flashing, keep people alert, because I just think that's one of those roads that's dangerous. I know you've gone down that road a million times, and you probably think,
It's a racetrack.
Yeah.
And since we paved it, it's only gotten worse.
yeah, yeah. And then the last thing is old interlocal agreements. I know as I've been learning and I've been asking staff for information, and I asked for old contracts, interlocal agreements or whatnot. Some of them are dated. I just want to make sure, Jennifer, that you go back through there. I know that we have issues with, we had the fire departments that were back in the 80s, animal controls back from, I think, 1986. I just think we need to revisit all these interlocal agreements or agreements that we have in place just to make sure that we bring those up to date. And I know that takes a lot of time, but just keep that, I'd like to see something happen on that.
Okay.
That's it.
Mr. Chair, on to the interlocal agreement thing, I would love to know about the animal control ordinance. I know that was a point of heated debate, I think. I've gotten stories back, so I just love to know where we're at with the city of Clueston animal control and those details.
We have talked about talking about it to be able to readdress it. And so Randy and I and Margaret have been in that conversation. And so we're going to be working as staff to bring something back to you shortly. I know he referenced it, I think, in one of their board meetings, and that was next on our list after we got the fire done.
Okay, Jennifer, can you tell me where we are with the jail, the roof? Where are they at now?
With the jail,
And the roof?
Jane.
Shane?
For the record, Shane, we're waiting on a guaranteed maximum price from Christel Construction. Some of their subcontractors had some questions on the specifications and drawings, so those are being submitted to the architect, and the architect's answering those, but my goal is to try to have a guaranteed maximum price for you in July at your board meeting. That's the goal.
Thank you, Shane. Tommy, thank you for the lifeguard. I read that, so thank you so much. We are at capacity with the YMCA, so they are hiring. I did have some people put some applications in, so it's working pretty good.
How many is that, Ms. Bird?
It's 50 plus.
Awesome.
50 plus.
How many did they have last year?
We had between 35 and 50, but it's hanging at 50 right now. It's hanging at 50. Some complaints about the air, but that's out of our control because it's like $100,000 to do an air condition.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
In the gym?
And we did Alan had a survey done off the record. When you already got contacts, and it would be costly to do an air condition. We have fans.
Open the door and turn the fans on.
Well, we doing all that and some more.
That needs, that 100, we need to get a hard estimate on that. We do. We need to open that up. We need to look at that.
So
Because
right
that
now-
gym's, how old? And I don't know if the insulation, would help, but
It's not. So what Tommy's been doing is like repairing the small things, like phases. So we're working on phases to get to a point that we can bring something to the board, but that'll be a hard asking. It'll be a hard asking. But they're working it, so thank you. That's about it.
Ms. Bird, I would love to help facilitate that discussion. If that's $100K, if we could get that, and I think that we could talk to a couple of mechanical contractors in
That's
this
not even
economy
including-
with
I'm
how
sorry.
well they're doing. And I think that that's something that we could make a community ask, and we could get that done.
That's not even including the.
You think it's closer to 200K?
Well, that's not including the air conditioning. That's just to rewiring the facility, repairing things that need to be repaired. So that's not even the air.
Plus the monthly expense.
Commissioner, we looked at that about 8 years ago, we looked at it, and it was well over 300 then.
Wow. Yeah, it's all over that then. It's just such a big building.
Fine, if we can do that, we've got one over in LaBelle, we can do the same gym.
The Upper Grove?
No, yeah, Upper Grove, yeah. Mr. Harris is in there every day playing.
But we turn the fans on, open the doors, and let everybody sweat.
Yeah.
But they got fans in the top, and they have fans on. They had a big commercial fans.
But
And
you don't need no.
Well, the ideal of exercise is to sweat, right?
That's right.
If you don't do it.
Boy, you can do it in Harlem.
That's what I told a parent the other day. I said, if not, they'd be playing out in the sun.
Mr. Harris, Ms. Bird, you finished?
I'm finished. Thank you.
Mr. Harris?
I'm okay. Are we ready for mosquitoes?
Mr.
The Fair Board was successful through the state legislative process this year. We awarded $800K, so that's huge. With additional 400, that's 1.2. So should be able to pretty much complete the Henry County pageant pavilion and then upgrade the RV complex and everything. Just excited about that, and thanks to the state of Florida and the EDC for allowing us to apply on that behalf. You know, I'm excited to see what the rulings are in black and white on why we can't address some of our facilities here. And I'd love to have that list updated again on, I'm sure I have it somewhere in the email inbox, and I could probably do a search and find it pretty easily. But I'd love to compare from us getting ready, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, but it's frightening how quick time gets away, what facilities we have versus then and now, and how we're looking at from an emergency standby generator system. Because to Commissioner Wills' point, you know, I think we need to try to be a little bit more prepared. And then last, I wanted an update from you all. The emergency management facility north of the river. What was our final decision on how we move? You were going to bring something back to us, I think in August, maybe. But has there been any other discussion?
So, so we were awarded Glades County was awarded the $900,000 for the facility. Several board meetings ago of the Glades County, they agreed to move forward with the partnership with Hendry County. I need to follow up with Mr. Jones, but it was my understanding that they were going to send us a proposed interlocal agreement for us to review and then to bring back before you to, and I haven't seen that yet. I don't know, have they sent that to you? No.
We modified it a little bit. The attorney for Glades County and I talked, Richard Pringle.
Okay.
And I just asked him to provide me what he viewed as the key deal points, just in bullet format. And I said I'd prepare the interlocal based upon that. And then he agreed, but then he hasn't given it to me yet.
Right, okay. So that's where we are on that. So we'll work to get that back closed up and bring that before you.
Do you know how long it'd take them to get the building up? 2 years or what?
I can't answer that right now. I don't know.
But they did get the money.
We did get the money, yes, sir.
That's awesome. And then my final thing is, I would really love for us to have a joint conversation again with Glades County, and this time have it focused on education and make sure that both superintendents are in the room. I think we need to have a joint ask again with Glades County in regards to their educational facility. That's right there on 78 and 27. Because, you know, yes, ma'am, you know, and what can we do to help facilitate that conversation in Tallahassee? And you know, it's going to serve all of us. And that's just my gist there.
Still empty.
I wouldn't necessarily say empty. They're doing some training out of there, but to say it's meeting the capacity of what it has, that's not what's happening. So.
Because it was built for a trucking school and.
It was built for so many things.
Yeah. And it's not being utilized, so. Because I think my daughter went to Fort Myers somewhere. She didn't even go. She was supposed to go through there, but she didn't. And Joseph Project sent a lot of kids up in north, west eastern Florida. So if they was to use that facility, which it was supposed to be there.
The Joseph Project is sending people elsewhere, is what you're saying.
They were sending them elsewhere, but Mike was trying to arrange for it to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
And it didn't happen like that. So.
Yes, ma'am. And I know that I don't mean to make it, a contentious issue, but I know that there was what Commissioner Swindle at the time was doing here. There was some duplication that was going on, and Commissioner Swindle's like, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel when we're right here? Let's do some other things.
So I had to bring it to the table where,
yes, ma'am.
What he wasn't doing, Glades County,
yes, ma'am.
we would work together.
But none of those people are in those positions anymore, so that's why I think that it would be wonderful if we could be the secondary entity. Both the school boards and superintendents are the primaries, and we're just helping facilitate that, because I will tell you, when we get into the legislative process and we're allowing Representative Mello, who did a great job for us, and Senator, soon to be Senate President Pasadomo, who has done nothing but knock it out of the park for us, when we allow them to saddle up with Representative Tuck and Senator Albritton,
come in.
and they know that we're all on the same page, it's just easier for them to get behind things. And so that's my thoughts.
Commissioner, you got any traction on your rodeo grounds? Have you guys done anything on that? I know we talked about that a couple years back.
So yes, sir. So we've got the dollars and cents are essentially flowing. Now we have to queue up contractors, but we had to get an extension on it from last year because we had a permitting issue that kind of shot us in the foot in the 11th hour. Or we would have had the building actually for this past fair in February. We would have had it climate controlled, completely roughed in, and all insulation in with I just said climate control with new windows and doors all the way around. It's going to be glass half. Now we're going to go ahead and probably add the addition on the front of that pavilion facility, and then we will do some stuff with the rodeo grounds. But I will tell you, the rodeo grounds I don't want to say have become a back burner, but when you look at the ability for that facility to generate dollars and cents, it looks to me as if RVs, a rodeo complex that is not grandeur. We have a guarantee. We don't have a guarantee. We have a really good conversation going with a large entity that has a set of bleachers that they're willing to donate if we're willing to pay a six-figure cost to get them re-engineered and relocated to Clewiston from where they are today. And that would allow us to have a capacity of probably 3,500 people in covered seating. So that's a game changer, because what I envision there is hopefully that would allow for if high school graduation occurs. In 1995 we had a thunderstorm that
Every graduation it rains.
exactly, and if it doesn't, there's always the threat, right? So how nice would it be to have a covered facility that we could host a graduation on? People say, "Oh, well, it's dirt." You can wet that and make it hard as a concrete. So that's what we're kind of shooting for.
At the LaBelle Rodeo, they gave us all this.
Yeah, the Seminole Tribe gave you all the bleachers on both sides and the covers.
And then the pavilion part,
Yep.
which is a great deal, Barry's.
Yep, Barry Groves hooked that all up. I remember, Commissioner, you were so
I went out.
engaged in getting them to donate that.
Can you donate it
Yep.
and bring it and put it up?
Yep.
They said yes.
And that was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was also a personal relationship with Bill Maddox and
Yeah.
Paul Bowers that kind of helped get that ball rolling.
Yeah, well, we knew all of them.
Yes, sir.
But they were real good to us.
Yeah, but now if we try to have a meeting in Big Cypress, he doesn't even want to go. So,
Not going.
yeah, see what I mean?
Tell them what happened last time we went. I'll tell them.
Anything else?
No, sir.
They come and opened the door. We went in, and we were the only people there.
So you should never do that again.
We saw in the business that we got the lighting on Lillian. We're done with that. That's done. I misunderstood it. I thought I read that it was completed.
Yeah, that would be my bad, because I thought that's what I understood as
That was
well.
quick.
No problem, I can clarify. They upgraded the three
Existing.
lights on, the existing ones on Lillian. They did that Friday.
Okay.
That was done Friday, late Friday. They still are waiting for the design for the two lights at Lillian and Orange and
Corner.
Lillian and Cowboy Way. Eric Cullen said it's still being designed, he's pushing them. And then the Cowboy Way lighting, they're still waiting on, he doesn't handle that, Facility and FPL handles it for Eric. They're waiting on the book value of the current lights and then the cost to remove them.
Who's gonna pay for that?
The city said, well, I'm not saying what the city's gonna do, but according to Gary Cole, my conversation today, he said that we're just waiting on the costs and they're all about upgrading those lights.
Okay.
But money's gonna come into play. So,
Yeah.
that was-
Again,
That was the latest update from Eric, as, 1 o'clock today.
okay, good. I definitely want to keep that engaged as well. The situation with the Wheeler Estates, just to give you guys an update, Commissioner Parker, Engineer Parker and Ms. Embledge went out, met with the community. They're working on, they explained to everyone about the road right-of-ways and different stuff, so we actually had a good meeting. I thought was 40, 50 people there maybe? Quite a few turned out. Yeah, every time we have a community meeting with that community, they turn out. So they came out, they engaged. It was really good, a good opportunity to get in there and talk. They got I've gotten several calls since where they've been out knocking on doors trying to get the easements and try to help with that. So that's a good thing. So just so you know, we're moving forward there. I do have some, maybe the Church Road and Feld, if we can figure out that, and the curve, Slaughterhouse curve, we really need to get that sooner rather than later. The trees need to be trimmed back again. When you come to the intersection, you can't see around that corner. And I know that the older gentleman passed, doesn't live there anymore, but I don't know how many times he called and told me, Commissioner, there's another car in my backyard. They run off that corner continuously. I asked you in the past, and maybe it's my fault I didn't send the pictures to you. I'd ask about the lighted Exxon signs, and did you?
Is that the ones that, if
They
it's,
light up when you're coming, they light up and show you the corner.
oh, so it's, you're not talking about like the speed limit is 35 and when you go to 40, they light up?
No, sir, it gives
Okay.
you the arrow. When you're coming to a blank corner.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
the arrow
Yes,
shows you
sir.
the corner
Yes,
all the
sir.
way around it.
Yes, sir.
I want to recall that, I know I spoke to one of my consultants, Johnson Engineering, about if they had anything in the NBDC for Florida, and there was none. The department uses of the chevrons that light up with the
Yeah.
building, but I will check again, but I was told there weren't none that were approved.
I've
for
seen
Florida. But I will look into the tree removal. I'm gonna be in Norfolk tomorrow, so.
Yeah, it's just, they cleaned it about a year and a half ago. Jerry, the crew went out and took care of it. I haven't called him back, but I went over today because they called back about those bumps again. So I went over today, and it just needs to be brought back to the fence again is all.
What about Church Road? What was the concern?
Church Road, we gotta do something about the speed out there. I was coming down Church Road the other day, and I'm gonna tell you, I thought I was in a race, but I lost, obviously. I must have been driving a Prius. Well, they went by me and they about took the paint off my vehicle, and I was running 60. So if we can, we got to, that's the same thing, it's just a straightaway. And then when you turn down towards the Lee County line, they're racing out there is all they're doing. They are racing.
There used to be.
But the biggest problem I've had, honestly, is the Lee County trucks.
Well, we can check something to, I can email.
The garbage trucks.
Contact solid waste and ask them to slow their vehicles up. They used to have speed bumps before, and then the problem was all the dump trucks were hitting them all the tracks. Fall off and get flat tires.
Here's gonna be a museum. Oh, they're gonna build something here, you're saying?
Yeah, the only area I would even think about doing something like that is where the residents are. And that's where the biggest problem is. You have, during the school year, you have children standing out by the road. And the sheriff's department, y'all have helped us out a lot. Y'all sent folks down there and they helped out a lot, but they can't be everywhere. We know that. And the problem is that when they're there, then somebody else is speeding over there. So if there's something we can do to help with, that's what I'm saying, in those areas. And you know, obviously some of the areas you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
But those are the biggest concerns right now. We have a blind corner. If we could just work on trying to make sure they actually know that's a corner. The light that we put in, that you had put in over at Slaughterhouse Curve, has made a world of difference. Maybe the next curve down, we should look at maybe having another light put there and that's a blind driveway coming out of that corner. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to look at that as well. A lot of your roads, I spoke with Jerry the other day, and he's checking shoulders. Rainy season the way it is, the water's standing on the roads. A lot of those, you know, we could run through there with a grader and get the water off the road. If you have a grader operator, if you don't, then Mr. Harris will volunteer.
Now, Howard Road have the little reflectors all the way around the curve.
On the curve itself, but these light up, Mr. Harris. They actually light up and show you the corners.
But when you hit it with your lights, they don't.
No, so they come on and show you the corners, so. I believe that's it. Does anybody have anything else before we adjourn? Meeting adjourned.